Okay, and if everything went according to tech plan for a goddamn change, we should be live. So thank you so much, everyone, for bearing with us. Oh, see, and look, I forgot to switch some of these cameras around that got moved. Thank you very much, everybody, though, seriously, for coming to join with us today for our very exciting third episode and finale for our run of Death House. I'm so excited to see what happens to this party as they begin their final descent into the basement. So just to real quick start us off, once again, if you are new to joining us here at Heroes Without Limits, we are a community ran and played entirely by disabled and chronically ill gamers. Everybody in all of our casts has some sort of disability, chronic illness, or neurodivergence, and we just like to try to increase representation and awareness of the fact that disabled gamers are out here and we like to play games too, damn it. So thank you for joining us and supporting us. Real quick, if you are new to this module of Death House or the Curse of Strahd game and haven't, caught any of our previous sessions, I just want to give you a quick content warning. This is a horror game. There are spooky, grim elements to it. I think we might be through the worst of it at this point, so hooray. But there are elements throughout the module relating to child death, neglect, and abuse. So if that is not something that is, something for you, don't worry. We understand. We've got plenty of other content for you to come back some other time to check us out when we're a little less spooky scary. So and psychologically scarring. So real quick, let's just go around, do some quick introductions. Let's start below me with Tyler. Tell us about your character real quick and just where we can find you.
Oh gosh, I'm first again. Hi,
Aha!
I'm Tyler. You can find me on Twitter at Tyler_Moonsage. I am blind, which is why, well, that's not why, yes, it's why you can't see me. You can't see me, and that's because I'm blind and I can't see my fellow players either, so I thought that was fair. I'm playing Gingersnap Whispergrass, who is a halfling cleric who is blessed by Chauntia, her trees, and the sound they make when they snap in half.
Oh my goodness. I love Gingersnap. And next, Anna.
Hey everyone, my name is Anna, and you can find me on Twitter at Nymeria941. Today I will be playing Saoirse, who is a human celestial warlock with a unicorn patron, and she is autistic like myself.
Lovely, thank you. And Amy.
Hello, I'm Amy. You can find me at AmyLiz_W on Twitter. I'll be playing Vermilion, the Tabaxi rogue, who is very hypermobile like I am. I have EDS in real life.
Wonderful. We're sorry that we couldn't have you join us last week, so it's really nice to have you and Vermilion back for realsies. Vince, tell us about you and Yubnub.
Hello, my name is Vince. You can catch me on Twitter at Dichotomous Prime. Tonight, and maybe for the last time, but we will see, I am reprising my role as Yubnub, the Goblin Divination Wizard, as we see what nefarious doings are going on in this house.
Wonderful. And last but certainly not least is Angela.
Hello there, everybody joining us for what will most likely be a calm, easygoing, and not combat-filled finale. You can find me at Phoenix24Fem on Twitter or as Philosophem on Patreon, where I am writer, poet, and I do a whole bunch of other stuff, mostly TTRPG related or music related. And I will be playing Ania, the Furbolg Grave Cleric of Ilmater, the Broken Crying God.
Yes. Okay, and then last... hi, I am Sam. I go by at Samwise_GameG on Twitch and Twitter. I have ankylosing spondylitis and Crohn's disease. I'm also an ostomate, so I have an ileostomy. And I'm very excited to be running all of these lovely people through this terrible, terrible nightmare-scape. So let's get to it. When last we left our party, last session, they had made their way through the majority of the Death House proper, where they battled animated armor, a spectral version of a nursemaid who once cared for the children that they met outside of the home, who had originally asked them to come and investigate signs of monster mischief. And after defeating the specter, they found a secret passage up to the attic. Making their way up to the attic, the party found a locked room where they found the remains of the 2 small children that they had spoken to outside. They found from the ghosts of these children that there is a secret passage from the attic down to the basement where the monster lives, and found that the children had been locked in the room from their parents, allegedly to protect them from the monster. And unfortunately passed away over time. We're not quite sure yet, at least, what may have happened to the parents or anybody else who's been coming through this house, as they made their way to said secret door and were beginning to head down into the basement, which was wafting up just this chill, moldy air. And they were able to hear the sounds of what sounds like maybe distant voices coming up from below. And that is where we will pick up. So the party is poised, starting to head down the stairs. And if you would like to continue, you certainly may. If you want to rethink your life choices, you certainly may do that as well. And of course, very excitingly, the party is all level 3 right now.
Hooray!
Huzzah! So, I'd like to start off our session by turning to the rest of the party and saying, well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I am inexplicably feeling the urge to have an approximately 6 to 8 hour rest. How's about the rest of you? Just no reason in particular, just felt sleepy.
Ginger Snow looks at you eyed wide with all of her damage. Like, yeah, I'm tired too. Let's go lay down for a bit.
I think that would be wise.
Why don't, Vermilion, you are quite keen in terms of taking notice of things and such. Would you mind alternating on watch with me while we watch over the others to let them take a rest?
Oh, I'd love to.
All right.
I'm feeling quite fine.
Nevertheless, let's just make sure everyone has the chance to recover and be suited. It's
Shall
best
we-
that we assist.
Shall we backtrack a little?
I think the best means, I don't know if the children will be returning. For viewers who weren't with us for the previous episode, one of the children did try and possess our lovely halfling cleric, and I had to say nope to
Yep.
them. I had to
Just
at least
say nope.
fully
Ania nopes undead.
It's what I do.
Yes.
I'd say we'd probably, in that case, given that it seems like a pretty sound decision from the group and conclusive decision by the group, going back up, I will block off the previous door and I will just take the first watch to see if anything comes from either direction.
Sure.
And if anyone else wants to take a third watch while we all try at the very least to rest.
Sure thing. So where are you guys taking your long rest? In that storage room that the basement door goes down to? Were you going to backtrack down to one of the places through the house you've already been in?
I was thinking right before the secret door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, so that's like a storage kind of space. You see there's some older pieces of furniture, so you could probably snuggle up on an old beaten up fainting couch. Maybe there's a spring exposed. They didn't really get rid of it. They just didn't want to, throw it out or anything. So there's bits of mismatched furniture and pillows and things like that. So you're definitely all able to cobble together a nice little sleeping nook for your evening's rest. Now,
Sounds good.
you are able to get your full, satisfactory 8-hour rest. You may all, I believe all, yes, you may all take the full effects and benefits of a long rest. Oh my goodness, I wish I could say that in real freaking life. But,
Yeah.
We got
okay. So, you awaken in the attic. Whoever took the last watch was that Ginger Snaps, I think. rouses all of you for
Could have.
sure, you did now. So rouses you all for a bright, beautiful new day. Or at least you assume so, because there are no windows in this attic. So the party is awake. You may take some time to, eat your breakfast rations, what have you. And the day is yours.
Well, I think this day would be much more bright and beautiful the quicker we can get out of this house. Do we have any strategies that we should go over before we head into what is certainly almost this monster's lair?
If you give me just a few minutes to prep something, I can bolster us ever so slightly for whatever we deal with down there.
Of course.
Ania will do two things. The first one that's quicker. She will pull out a strip of cloth from a little bag that she keeps a lot of different things like holy water and things of that sort. And she will take just she'll take like a match with it and strike it, burn just the faintest tip of her finger. Not enough to do pain, but just enough to just sort of leave a rough callus on it, and just move it towards the white cloth, and then just sort of gesture it towards the entire party, or at least to 3 other people. So I will choose Yubnub, Sorsha, and Ginger Snap. And I'm casting aid on all 3 of you.
Oh, wow.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I give up one of my only 2nd level spell slots to do that, but you have your max hit points are up by 5.
Wow.
Yeah, and it lasts for 8 hours. So however long we need to be here for this, it's helpful.
Quite invigorating, thank you very much. And on the topic of making sure to protect oneself ahead of time, I will cast mage armor on myself.
Not a bad idea. All right, and does anybody else have any preparations you would like to undertake before you continue your descent down into the basement?
Oh, I would. Yeah, actually. So, while we were sleeping last night, I actually had a dream that my unicorn lady friend came to me, and she said that she was going to send me somebody to help us get through this hard time. So I'd like to introduce you all to, and I pull out a tiny little sort of glowing, spectral looking unicorn. It's got kind of like a little gossamer sheen to it, little like purple sparkles. You can kind of see through it. It's definitely translucent, but it is certainly more substantial than anything Saoirse has ever presented related to unicorns before. I gotta think of a name for her, but she's supposed to come help guide us on our journey.
Well, it's not the strangest thing that I've seen today, so Yum like briefly looks up from his book and be like, oh, well, another set of eyes is always useful, I suppose, and then goes back to like
And it's adorable. This is a good sign.
Yes,
I
it's
think
gonna
so.
go well.
fluttering about Saoirse's like head and shoulders of its little gossamer wings, and just sort of watching around you all.
Yeah.
It's like a flying beanie baby or
Vermilion's kind
something.
of like doing the cat
Yeah,
thing.
it's
Amazing.
Navi the unicorn. If you know Legend of Zelda, it's Navi the unicorn.
Hey,
Yep.
listen!
Exactly.
The last 2 things, this will take another like full 10 minutes to do this, but I will cast, you see Ania pulls out a small, it basically looks like a personal flask, and it drinks it. So for a second, it looks like she's just taking a long swig before things get into it. But you see a bright sort of, it's a thin red thread that coats her body, and you feel a little essence of warmth around here. And I'm gonna roll for this. Oh yay! And I cast False Life for 6 temporary hit points for 1 hour.
Nice.
So I have 6 you cannot touch me points for before we get into this, and then I will do ritual casting detect magic. So I have all of my things prepped. That is everything I need to do before we descend into hell or the abyss or both.
All right. So everybody begins to make your way through this secret door, unbarricading it from your stay overnight, because I'm just sort of picturing you kind of like shoving everything against all of the doors as you like settled in for your night's rest.
Absolutely.
The stairs are wood as you first begin your descent, and as you get lower and lower, they transition into roughly carved stone. And similarly, the walls transition from well-kept, if cobwebbed and, sort of dusty and old wood to moss-covered stone walls, everything. The air just becomes chill as you are certain that you definitely have reached underneath the level of the home. You enter into an area that is in utter darkness. There is no light here, so if you do not have dark vision, you cannot see until a light source is provided. Those of you...
I'll have the friendship bracelet of light up.
Sure. Okay, so that lights up, and now everybody is able to see that you are in a small, narrow hallway. The hall it's more of a tunnel, really. It's only about 4 feet wide, and 7 feet high, so Ania, you're probably kind of like either just scraping your head along the ceiling here, and looking around in the dim light, realize you kind of need to be careful because about every 5 feet or so there's like a wooden support beam going across the ceiling. So if you're gonna conk your head.
I'm kind of imagining Ania has just basically taken on the characteristics of like a tortoise in terms of her head, where she's just like cropped her entire head into her neck to try and help scuttle her way, more like even waddling her way through
it's
this
like tucked
tunnel.
into your armor. Excellent. So you find yourselves down in a hallway. You sort of file out from the staircase, and as you look to either side of you, you see you can sort of go a little ways, either to left or right. But what really catches all of your attention is you can definitely hear an sort of ethereal and distant chanting sound. As you strain and listen, even those of you with higher, perceptions you're not able to discern any sort of words or instrumentation, or anything like that. It's just this constant and steady stream of sort of melodic chanting sounds.
Have we seen anything along this tunnel? Just because I'm remembering that the kids mentioned that this is like where the family crypts led to. Does it look like is there any type of like memorial materials in the walls, or does it just look like a gross tunnel that there's maybe no crypts whatsoever?
Sorry. Scrolling down.
Appears to be some kind of emergency going on down here.
I
don't
know, I'm sorry,
No
that's my, that's my
Fantasy
sound.
EMS has come to rescue us at last.
I know, I'm sorry, I would mute, but the DM kind of needs to be talking.
Oh no, that's fine. We're in here in the basement.
We're in the basement.
It's people. I consent to the use of first aid.
Alright, so, sorry. So, Saoirse, you were looking for any sign or indication of, like, a crypt or something, correct?
Yeah, because if the tunnel is branching off, I assume we probably want to follow.
Sure.
If the only way out is through and the tunnel's branching off, I just want to make sure that we're still maybe trying to go through so that we can leave.
Absolutely. Let me just make sure that I'm looking in the right section of the thing, because now it's where all of the maps get convoluted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might I also make a suggestion that we attempt to move with discretion and stealthily, if at all possible, as presumably there is a monster somewhere around here, but I'm not entirely sure, so...
That's a great idea.
Yes.
All right, go ahead. Anybody who would like to then roll stealth checks.
Oh boy.
I will try, but I do not foresee this going well.
A great idea, she says, with a -1 in stealth.
No.
Oh, that's a 10 for Saoirse.
Okay.
Aggressively average.
It's better than mine. I rolled a total of 6.
Okay.
Oh.
Those are numbers.
Going
That's
to
13
attempt to be
for me.
stealthy.
Sorry, what was that?
13 for me with disadvantage.
13, okay.
Ooh, 15 with disadvantage.
Oh, look at you. Okay, so, you know...
Vermilion,
Oh, yes.
Vermilion got a nat 20 for a 26. So.
Vermilion, your like cat eyes are sort of reflecting some of Saoirse's light back in the darkness, and you're just kind of like looking and like, oh come on guys, as like your noisy halfling and furball like companions are just sort of clattering a little bit. Everybody thinks that you're being really slick and stealthy, but Vermilion's just over there shaking their head like, oh my god.
Just a ninja carrying like pots and pans behind them, tied to them by
Right.
string.
Just Sam Gamgee style, like just all this like cookware on like her pack. Okay, so Saoirse, you are hunting for signs of the crypt.
Yes.
You start to sort of wander up and down the hall, like holding your wrist out so you can see better. And you see that, not too far to your left, there is a small hallway that branches out into 2 small doors that have like a stone like slabs sort of leaning against the wall nearby that you would definitely recognize as, some sort of a crypt or mausoleum type space. So you feel like you might be in the right area. You can decide, how far you want to pursue.
Did it look like the doors were like stone slabs that were over a tomb and now they're open, or are they just doors that are made out of stone?
I'll
I'll get close enough if I have to
Yeah.
to determine.
So you made it down. I'll say you turns to the left to go that way first because it's like a shorter kind of hallway.
Right.
So you go that way first, and you find you go and investigate these doors a little bit closer. And as you hold up your light, you're easily able to see that these 2 rooms, they're sort of. It's like you've walked into a sort of alcove space that has 2 rooms opposite each other, like 2 open stone doorways, and there's a slab that would normally that you can see would normally be meant to cover or seal this crypt once it had been filled or used for its purpose. But you hold your light up and you see that there doesn't seem to be any indication that these 2 crypts are in use or have actually been in use. You see a little sort of like engraved spot on the stone slabs that are leaning against the walls. And with your noble background especially, you would recognize that these would definitely normally be like nameplates, but there's nothing engraved onto these. So you have the idea that at least the crypts you're looking at right now have not actually been used yet.
So they're vacant.
Yes.
But does it look like they're vacant because the bodies have left the tombs? Or just because nobody is... Because I'm getting... Yeah.
You can roll an investigation check.
Okay.
All right, and what's the rest of the team up to?
I would like to give Saoirse assistance.
Please.
Wait, can I?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay.
What does that do? Help action?
Yeah, roll again
yeah,
with
essentially.
advantage.
Could I also give guidance?
No, not at this point.
Okay.
Because that takes an
Okay.
action, so I'm kind of already, like, given some
Fair.
extra wiggle room by letting the advantage happen after the die was dropped. So,
The first roll was a natural 1.
oof.
The second one was a 14.
Oh, all right.
So thanks, Yup Nup. Big time.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, between Saoirse and Yubnub, you both sort of come and take a look over these crypts together. And you're pretty sure that these are essentially new crypts. that the doors seem to just be open because nothing had ever been placed into these yet. Since the name panel is blank, it doesn't look like anybody had ever really been interred here. And you don't see, like, the signs of, like, an empty coffin or anything like that.
Well, given
Sorry,
that they're...
just-
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, just for reference, sorry, because I was losing a little bit of the audio earlier. So
Sure.
for the map that's on here, I just want to try and
Sure.
orient.
Just
myself
to
as where we
orient
are.
yourselves, for the map that is displayed, you are in the top right rooms. That sort of
Gotcha.
C-shaped,
Perfect.
like, bracket area in the top right. Those are the 2 crypts.
I see.
Excellent, thank you.
No problem. So, this means that, just sort of, like, set where everybody, as far as I'm concerned at least, is right now, we'll say Yubnub and Saoirse sort of move away from the crypt, so you're in that main hallway now. So, we'll have, Saoirse and Yubnub in, like, the furthest part of the hallway to the left, like when you came down those basement stairs originally. So anybody who
Okay.
hasn't moved since you came down, to your left you have Saoirse and Yubnub. To the right you have yet any unexplored space, unless somebody wants to begin going this way. Saoirse and Yubnub, from where you are, you do see that it looks like there's a short staircase a little further down the hall from where you are, and like around the corner from where the others are, so no one can see it really but you two.
I would like to cast message over to Vermilion and see if our Tabaxi friend would be willing to scout ahead down the stairs, since they seem to be significantly more proficient at the game of stealth than the rest of us seem to be.
And I'll just go back over to wherever Ania is standing, and I'll let her know. I don't think that even if this family was large and grand as it appears to be, they would need quite this many areas to bury people. I know that's your area of expertise, but I just wanted to let you know I'll back you up if something happens and we start seeing, I would not be surprised if we started seeing more of the undead than just those 2 children. This seems like, it's a bad pun, but it really does seem like overkill to have this many tombs for a family with 2 parents and 2 children who are already dead. So I will basically just be keeping my guard up, and if it appears that anything untoward is going to come at us, I have protection against evil ready.
Okay, excellent.
So,
Alright.
Okay. Vermilion will scout ahead towards the stairs that Yevna mentioned, was it?
Okay. So Vermilion begins heading, just for cardinal direction purposes, it doesn't actually... no, never mind, that'll confuse everybody more because you can't see the compass rose. Never mind! So Vermilion starts heading off towards the staircase. Vermilion, I'm good. Yes. What was that, Ania?
I was just going to say, whatever direction that Vermilion is heading, if they're heading towards the staircase, because I have Detect Magic up for 10 minutes, if there's any a chance of catching them before they get to the staircase, I'm just going to be right before it, and just what I can see in 30 feet, because obviously they can scout farther than that, but just as a precaution for our Tabaxi friend, because I do not want them to get hurt.
Absolutely.
Do I notice anything along the staircase within 30 feet? Because that's the max range for Detect Magic from where I'm at.
Let me double check. Okay, so you sort of follow just behind Vermilion as they start slinking off. Vermilion, I'm gonna let that nat 20 from earlier keep riding for now, because that was sweet. And nobody's actually really done too much yet. Most of that conversing was done, I believe, via message anyway. So I'll say your stealths are still continuing. So Vermilion starts making their way out, and Ania, you're sort of poking your furbolg head over them and, between them and the beams, peering around down the stairs. You do not see anything set off your Detect Magic. Vermilion, as you make your way down the stairs, you find yourself in a relatively small room that has a wooden table with 4 chairs. And you see that there are a handful of alcoves within the room. as you sort of move your way in, quietly. You don't seem to see any sign of activity or life, and you see that each of these alcoves contains a moldy straw, like, sleeping pallet, essentially.
Okay.
You see that there is a hallway that's like a sort of landing that leads to another set of stairs across the room from where you enter.
They'll do a quick sneak up those stairs just to peek up. They won't go like through whatever's there, but just to look.
Sure. So you make your way down that, it's just a handful of steps. It's not like a very long staircase. And you find yourself in a slightly larger room than the previous one that has a well shaft. It looks like it's maybe 3 feet high or so. There's a moldy-looking wooden bucket hanging from a rusty rope and pulley mechanism that are, like, strung through the cross beams of the ceiling in the room above you. And you see that there are some simple wooden doors along each wall in this room. You see there are, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 5 doors, and then what looks like a walkway or a hall to another space.
I'd just like to say, intermittently, I'm going to keep the two-way direct message conversation with Vermilion going, just so that I can continue to relay whatever information about what they're saying back to the party
Sure.
without having to use anything especially loud.
What is the range for message, just so I know?
Let's take a look.
Just to make sure.
It's either 30 or 60 feet. Let me pull that up momentarily.
Okay.
Here.
And you don't need visual, right? You just need to be, like, facing the direction of your target.
You point your finger towards a creature within range and oh, it's 120 feet.
Oh, okay, 120 feet, you're fine then.
My goodness. All
yeah,
right.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll narrate what they're seeing a little bit.
Okay.
That there's doors and rooms and a
Excellent.
bucket.
And a bucket.
Can I tell, like, the use of that bucket might be?
Yeah.
Like, is it familiar?
You look over and it looks like it's just like a standard well. You peer in with your dark vision. You do see what looks like a watery surface, maybe 30 feet down below or so. It smells, just very stale and stagnant. Not totally sure you'd want to be, like, drinking any of that water without maybe boiling it first, or at least having a Clara candy just in cases. But, at some point, it must have been serviceable. So real quick, Vermilion, while you're sleuthing around here, is anybody in the other hallway up to anything while Yubnub is sort of feeding you back this feed of information from Vermilion? Are you just sort of staying put? Are you still exploring that hall in the other direction? Or are you waiting?
I was going to ask the rest of the party if you would like to move into at least this area that was described by Vermilion as having the table, as at least as far as I know, it was described as being safe, or at least not having any immediate hazard or threat within it.
Yeah, I'm worried about them. I want to stay as close as we can without ruining their sneakiness.
All right.
I agree. Although I will say I would like to go ahead and use my Navi the Unicorn familiar, because I'd like Saoirse to go into the room and then just maybe sit down at the table in one of the chairs and be able to use the familiar's senses to go check out that other doorway.
Sure.
But she can stay invisible, so hopefully, that I feel like Sparkle's a little out of place here, even more so than usually, just small animals sneaking around. So just to see if there's anything there, but Saoirse herself, I don't think wants to get closer to that area.
Which doorway was Navi going to go and investigate? Was it you mean back down the hallway in the way you all haven't gone yet, or was there a different doorway? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just while we're doing this, to make sure that nothing is just hiding there and maybe following us, or has noticed our presence and is trying to sneak up on us or something.
Sure. How far down do you want Navi to go?
How far, like, into that room or down the door?
Like as far down the hallway, pretty much, like until they reach a barrier. Do you want Navi
Yeah,
to?
I think so. Just
Okay.
to check out, suss out a little.
All right. So everybody watches as Saoirse sort of sits down at this wooden table,
Mhm.
and pulls out Navi, who disappears and turns invisible. Just for anybody curious, Navi is just using the sprite stat block, but looks like a
Yes.
unicorn because they're awesome. So, so you don't see Navi, but you know you're able to hear these little fluttering wings go past some of you, as she zips back down the hallway in the direction that you came. Does Navi have dark vision?
I believe yes, because I think that a sprite does. Let me double check. I had this pulled up. It's just taking me a second to
No worries.
find the stats.
They do
Right.
not.
It does not appear that they do, unfortunately.
No.
Oh darn. No,
Yeah.
can't see in the dark.
Unfortunately. So Navi sort of goes invisible and starts making her way, you know, down the hall. But you sort of like, as you're trying to look through her eyes, you're like, oh crap. As like everything is totally dark. And Navi sort of like starts bumping into like the wall, trying to find
okay.
her way through.
You can come on back, sweetheart. It's all right.
Oh, sorry. It was a good
That's
idea.
okay. I'm still getting used to having a small unicorn
It's
following
true.
me
It's
around.
very new.
So, it is.
All right, so Vermilion, you are still in that big ol' well room. I believe everybody else is hanging out in the nearby room with the table. What would you
Mhm.
like to do? Are you going to rejoin your friends? Do you continue scouting? You did see that there was a handful of doors in that room that you have not gone to investigate further, and there's a hallway that, as you sort of like, you know, get closer to it, you see leads to another staircase.
Can Vermilion go in the big well room and just kind of like sniff around cat style to see if they can kind of sense what's behind each door, maybe if there's any like decay or any life?
Sure.
Would that be an eye for detail perception check?
What's the eye for detail? Because that sounds like visual rather than sense.
It's to check to reveal a hidden creature or object or make an investigation check to uncover or decipher clues.
Okay.
It's kind of vague.
Yeah, I'll say that works though. Sure, go ahead. What is that? Does that like give you advantage or something?
No, it's just the descriptor on that.
Okay.
Just an 11 though.
An 11. Okay. So you sort of go to each doorway and like investigate, you know, along the sides of it. You're looking for any signs of like light or recent activity. You're sniffing the air. You don't smell anything except your companion's kind of in the next room. And still just the continuing scent of just damp decay. And like just stagnant air and stagnant water. You don't smell any kind of life in the rooms beyond. Do you try to open any of the doors?
Okay. Over message, they'll say, should I keep looking? Door number 1, door number 2. There's a lot of doors in here again.
Would we, through our communication, be able to guess at approximately how far apart we are right now? If we're going to start opening doors, I'd rather we have enough distance between us that I could maybe run and get to you in time to be able to assist you if something nasty comes out of one of them.
Let's see. Yeah, you gather, just with the distance that Vermilion has been telling you that they've been traveling, it would take, just for metagame turns, it would take about a round, you know, like your movement or a dash action to get to the same space that they're in right now. It's about 30 to 60 feet.
I will ask the rest of the party if they're all right looking after our warlock friend while their senses are elsewhere. If I could move a little bit forward and try and provide Vermilion with a little bit of backup.
Of course, we'll stay right here.
All of you are much more perceptive than I am, so I imagine that if you're going to be seeing something coming, you would most likely see it before I would anyways. As I hop down from the table, as I've used the chair as sort of a stool to get up onto it, and then I will go into the room where Vermilion is, and essentially just stand. Is there? I noticed that the oh, there we are. I'll just shut my mouth then. There, it's been updated. So I will stand essentially just on the opposite side of the well from whichever door Vermilion decides to open. And essentially, if we go around the room during that process, that is essentially the procedure that I would like to do. Is I will just basically be popping my head out from the side with ready to cantrip if something decides to, if a skeleton pops out or something.
Sure. All right.
We're turning D&D into a cover shooter, y'all. This
Serious.
is great.
I love it. It's just Time Crisis
Thank
3
you,
up in
Yub-Dub.
here. All right.
Vermilion will go around and start like leftward, just opening the first door. They're not gonna check it. They're just gonna
Sure.
quietly open and look in.
All right. So you go through to each door. I'll say you more or less find the same contents in each room. Every room contains a wood-framed bed with a now moldy straw mattress and a wooden chest that has a rusty iron padlock on each one of them at the foot of the bed. You get the idea that, these are just probably some bedrooms for people a little bit higher station than those who you found the, sleeping pallets for on the room previous. So each of these five rooms has a bed and a wooden chest with a kind of rusty-looking padlock on each one.
But bedrooms for people of higher station down in the crypt sounds somewhat odd to me. So once again, cantrip held to be like.
Somewhat, but considering how much they liked their rituals.
Yes, you do recall you found that letter in that secret room upstairs that had referenced some sort of, dark rituals happening and
Yes.
culty type activities, perhaps.
I will defer to you, my furred friend, if you would like to investigate any of these wooden chests further, or whether or not you believe that it is worth the trouble. I will leave that up to your roguish expertise.
Oh, it's so hard to leave them locked. Yeah, they're gonna try to open one.
Okay, sure. Go ahead and roll for your thieves' tools.
16.
16. Yeah, you are easily able to get through this lock. And it satisfactorily clicks open, and you pull the rusty hinges open, and you open the chest to find that there is a small pouch made of a strange leather-like material. But when you open it up and look through it, you find 11 gold pieces and 60 silver pieces. Would you like to
Alright.
check the others?
Yes.
All right, just give me 2 more thieves check rolls, and I'll just double it up to save time.
Okay. 12 and another 16.
Okay, so 2 of the rooms, you're sort of get your lockpick jammed in it because of the rust. But the 2 others, you find an ivory hairbrush with silver bristles on it worth 25 gold pieces. And in the last one, you find in that chest a silvered short sword that is worth 110 gold pieces. Okay, and that is the bedrooms. You still have that a little hallway that you see leads to some more staircases, and your friends are in the room back behind you. Is anybody in that other room taking time to do anything, or while Vermilion and Yubnub are scouting around?
Mostly just sitting, but probably taking a look for any. I know this house has a lot of secret passageways.
Sure.
The main house, at least. So
Yeah, roll a
glancing around, seeing if there's anything on the walls.
roll me an investigation check.
That is an 8.
An 8. Nah, you start running your hands along some of the walls, and you think for a second maybe you found something, and you stick your hand in like a crack, but it's just got like some dead spiders in it.
Ooh.
Yuck.
Yeah, it's gross.
I think Ania's just keeping watch over Sorsha until they
Sure.
have regained their faculties. I don't
Yeah.
want anyone getting lost here.
All right. Okay, so Vermilion and Yubnub, do you continue scouting along? Do you return to your friends? What do?
I think Vermilion will probably kind of run back and update everybody, just saying, we haven't found much yet. There's a lot of old bedrooms, but there's another hall that leads somewhere else. Do you want me to scout ahead?
Is Sorsha back?
Yeah, I'd say by now.
Yeah,
'cause
definitely.
She's not letting Navi just wander around in the dark. Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. Yeah, I would say we all just keep moving.
Proceed
room.
together.
Yeah. This one, proceed together down the staircase, and if it appears as though there's anything we can investigate, then we send you out with at least 1 or 2 other people
Sure.
and see what we can do from there.
All right.
Sounds like a plan to me.
So I'm kind of picturing the group like kind of Scooby-Dooing behind Vermilion, like from a somewhat safe distance, you know, like maybe
Little bit.
like 10 or 15
Yeah.
feet back behind, like while they go on ahead. Are you keeping an eye out for traps or anything, or are you just sort of like trying to go and get your like dark vision on for the team right now?
Well, they'll keep an eye out just where it's a new area they're going into and make sure there's nothing, dangerous in the path.
Sure. Okay. So you make your way. Actually, I think these might be an up step. I don't know how directions go on maps. But you make your way either up or down these steps and find yourself on a landing, where there are some steps that continue up in the same direction, and then there is a long hall to your right. Do you want to go up the stairs or do you want to go down the hall? Oh, sorry. Also, roll me your investigation check.
All right. 18, and I'll go down the hall.
Go down the hall. Okay. So you make your way down this hall, and with your first couple of steps, the first thing that catches your attention is that those chanting voices sound much louder here than they were before. And for a moment, as you're going, you're distracted trying to listen and see if maybe you can understand them now, and you catch yourself just before you find before you realize that something in this area is not quite right, and you look around and you realize that there are no other footprints in this space, whereas you've seen lots of older footprints, just like from time and like years gone by, in the other places that you've been investigating so far. So you start sort of looking around on the ground a bit closer, and you do find what looks to be a hidden pit of some sort that has had some false, like mostly rotted wooden planks laid down, and then was like covered with some of the sort of like loose dirt and dust that this ground is made of. So it does seem like it's gonna take up like a big, like it takes up like pretty much like a 5 square like chunk of the hallway. So you could easily definitely jump over that at least. But I don't know if you want to keep going, if you want to let the team know before you proceed.
Just careful here, there's a block that you don't want to step on. Think we can get around it all right.
All right.
Yeah, I'll just try and sidestep it. I'm not gonna try and leap.
Okay, so you all keep following Vermilion. It's just 5 feet, so right, you can all jump 5 feet. Nobody's got like a super horrible strength, do you?
I don't think so.
Right, because I think it's like you could jump the distance of your strength score. So
Yeah.
as long as nobody's got a 4 strength or lower, I think you're all okay. I don't know though. How's that wizard looking?
I have a strength of 9.
You're good then. There you go.
Yay!
Excellent.
Just be glad it's,
Jumped
you know, just
9 feet.
you're set. All right, so you make your way further down this hall and you find yet some more stairs. You find a set that leads down, and a set that leads up and to your left as you all make your way down this hallway. You all notice now that the chanting has gotten louder, but the words are not any clearer. So do you,
Is it like disturbing chanting? Like, do they sound like what's the overall tone of this? Well, I mean, of course it's disturbing on some level.
It's eerie for sure. I mean,
Okay.
since you can't pick out any words at all, it's a little hard to tell beyond just this is an unsettling and I mean, I guess you could probably say, to an extent at least, some level of unnatural, because you realize that there has been no break whatsoever in any of this chanting since you have come down here. Like, it's just been a steady, like, same volume, at least until you get to this area where it just has become louder.
I think
I have a
Saoirse's
question.
gonna just pause for a moment with her hands over her ears and just, like, breathe for a second. And...
Right, yeah, I'm sure that's a little overwhelming.
Yep.
Ania, what's up?
I had a question. So I'm trained in religion, at least for a skill.
Sure.
Would it? I know we can't pick out the exact words, but in terms of, I guess, styling or what it might remind me of, does it sound like, for lack of a better term, like choral singing, like from a church or a temple or a religious authority of any kind? Because I know we found the documents earlier.
Right.
We did like ritualistic sacrifices. Does it seem more akin to that or something more untoward?
Right. I mean, it doesn't. You like I said, you don't really hear like any actual melody, so it's not quite music. It sounds maybe like a continuous like recitation of like chanting. Very, you know, ritualistic. So I mean, it doesn't necessarily. I mean, you could roll a religion.
Okay.
We'll say just do that. Yeah, let's see how much you can glean.
May I also attempt a religion check as well?
Sure, go for it.
Oh, that's actually really good, even with my low modifier. That is a 19.
19. Okay, and Yubnub.
Well, that was with my quite good modifier. It was a total of 10. So let's just get all of these terrible rolls out of the way right now, then.
Yeah, not a bad idea. So Ania, with that 19, you start to listen, and you're pretty sure that it at least doesn't seem to ring the bells of any sort of specific religious melody or chant that you're familiar with. It does have that sort of like fervent like feel to it, you know, like you can't understand what anybody is saying yet, but the continued like nonstop quality to it, you sort of get you do just sort of grasp like some sort of sense of dedication, at least.
So more reverent and zealous than religious per se.
Yeah, I think
More
that could be
kind
a
of
good way
thing.
to put it. Yeah.
Okay, either way, both don't indicate anything good if they've been doing this.
Yeah, both
this
not great.
long. But I'll pass on that information to everyone else and
Yeah.
keep things going along.
All right. So you all have now hopped over that trap, and you are still faced with these stairs. So you have the staircase going down that is right in front of you, and to your collective left, you have a staircase going up.
And can we discern which? And apologies if you said this already, but which direction it is loudest that this chanting is coming from? Downward or to our left?
Anybody who would like to may roll a perception check.
I would like to.
Yes.
I still have my hands over my ears. So
Reasonable.
Well, that's a flat 11 for me.
Okay.
That's a
That's a
dirty
s-
20.
Okay.
ooh,
Oh, I was gonna say
19.
nice.
19
16.
and 16. Okay, I will say Ginger Snaps and Vermilion, while everybody's kind of like craning their heads around trying to listen, you are both pretty certain that the chanting gets louder when you get closer to the staircase going down, the one that's straight ahead.
Ooh, all right. I don't feel good about this going towards it because it's real creepy, but I think that's how we're going to solve this problem, by going down there.
I think so. I have a feeling the further down we go, the closer we'll be to whatever we're looking for.
I'm in agreement largely, but I'm wondering if there might be some merit to continuing our look around up here. There might be something we might be able to use against whatever cultish sort of fanaticism awaits us on the next floor.
Maybe let's check a couple more rooms here, and then if nothing remotely pleasant is within any of them, we just go and tackle the major problem that we see ahead of us. Perhaps there's other materials we can gather or some other means of protecting ourselves around here.
That definitely sounds reasonable to me.
All right.
Yep.
Alright, so you are deciding to continue your search in this area a bit before you head down the stairs, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, well, before we continue your search, we are going to just take a quick break because we're at the 7 p.m. mark, so we've got about an hour left. We're just going to take a quick break because I want to make sure that we're able to finish in this next hour, and we're starting to run a little time crunchy here. But I want to make sure everybody gets to stretch and move around. So we will BRB, and everybody remember to hydrate. See you soon. are back. Thank you so much for bearing with us while we took a quick stretch break. Jumping right back into things. The party was just trying to decide whether they would continue their exploration of the level that they currently are on, or if they would try and head downstairs to where they can tell this sort of eerie, ethereal chanting is coming from. So you have opted to continue. Are you still going to let Vermilion scout ahead of everybody, or are you changing your marching order? What's up?
If they're still okay with it, I think that would be fantastic, actually.
Of course.
I don't want to shove you first onto the, pitchfork tongs of the undead or anything, but you are probably the best equipped to sneak past them, so.
Sure. All right, so Vermilion heads up the stairs with the rest of the party. I assume still sort of staying like 20, 15, 20 feet back behind them.
Yeah.
I will continuously doing my best Charles Xavier impression and just like, with message going intermittently as they proceed downwards, or not downwards, forwards, and twirling towards freedom, etc.
Excellent. So, Vermilion, you head up the stairs and you start to head forward, and you see that you can go pretty much any direction at this point. To your left, you see an opening straight ahead of you. You see the hall continues and then seems to open up towards the right. And immediately to your right, you see a longer hallway that looks like it turns somewhere up ahead. So you could go straight, you could go left, or you can go right.
Choices. Left.
Left. Okay. You head left and you wind through just a small narrow passage, and you find that you are in what looks to be a dining hall. This room contains a plain wooden table that is flanked with long benches. And there are old plates just sort of left strewn and cluttered on the table. And there are bones on the plates and just sort of scattered along the floor. Looks like remains from, past banquets or feasts. And you see an alcove on the other side of this dining hall from you.
I'll make my way to the alcove.
Okay, and is everybody still following back behind them?
Sure.
Yes, I definitely will, and I will attempt to do so stealthily.
Same.
Okay, yeah, roll me some stealth checks, everyone. Let's just get a fresh round of them. It's been a while.
It's a 12 for Saoirse.
Okay.
21.
21, okay.
The dice gods giveth and the dice gods taketh.
Same. 6.
Same.
I got on one roll, I got a natural 20.
Okay.
Other roll was a 1.
Oh, sad. That's sad. All right.
At that point, I just like clonk my head and like just shout, "Damn it!"
That episode of The Simpsons where Homer just runs into like the cover above the stove when he's trying to eat the cake, just boom, damn it!
Seriously. All right. And I think Ginger Snap, what was yours?
6.
6. Okay, so that was everybody's stealth. All right, and so I will assume that you guys are all sort of like hanging out by like the entry of this room while Vermilion heads off to inspect the alcove.
Sure. That's where Saoirse will be.
Sure. All right. So Vermilion starts making your way. Vermilion, what's your passive? I'm just curious.
14.
14? Okay. So... Ooh, actually... Oh no, what did I just click? I clicked something. Sorry, I made my thing that I was just looking at disappear. Okay, hang on. Okay,
Multiple rolls. This is even worse than we thought.
No, it's fine. Everything is fine. So Vermilion, you start making your way towards this alcove, and you pretty much get like right up to it, and your mind doesn't even really register what it is that seems off about this. But you sort of jump back like just in time as this sort of dark tentacle seems to like lash out and try to wrap around your wrist real quick.
Protection from evil.
And I need everybody to roll initiative.
Ah.
Uh,
Alrighty.
What we get
Oh.
for being curious.
Hello.
That's
Would
what
I
I
have-
get for being curious.
Would I have had time to get that off before initiative, or
Is that an action or a reaction?
I believe it's an action, so probably not. Let me double check though.
Yeah, it's a full action to my knowledge.
That's
I
okay.
think so.
The instincts were there, if not the execution.
Okay. Initiative. Ania.
4.
4. Okay, and Yamnab?
That would be an 18.
Vermilion?
7.
Oh. Saoirse?
5.
5, okay. And Ginger Snaps?
a 3.
Oh my goodness. Alright, well, Yubnub, you're up first.
Okie dokie then.
You peer and you see as this black tentacle like sort of sucks back into the alcove, and you get a better look at it now. It is a like 5-6 foot long looking worm-like creature that is sort of coiled up in this alcove, and it has these 4 like clawed tentacles around its beaky mouth. And this is a Grick.
Yeah, well, that doesn't
Great.
look good at all. All right, well, I'm going to attempt to create a bonfire underneath it, so I need to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Okay, oh, that's a fail with a 6.
Alrighty, now oh my goodness. Of course, this is the one thing I don't immediately have up in front of my face.
I think it's like a D6 fire or something, right?
I think it's
Yeah, it's D6
let's see,
fire.
D8 actually.
D8
so
fire.
let me do. That's a 6. So 6 points of fire damage towards that thing.
6 points of fire damage. Excellent.
And I will. You said that there is a rather large bench-like table in this room. If so, I would like to try and break line of sight and hide behind it.
Sure. Roll me your stealth check.
All right, there we are, showing up for work. It is that is a 23 on stealth.
Okay, you're feeling pretty safe back behind this big old wooden table. And next up we have the Grick, who is going to make its attacks against Vermilion, who is closest to it. That is going to be a 17 to hit.
Yep.
Okay, so one of these tentacles lashes out again, and hits Vermilion for 7 slashing damage. And as it's got its like tentacle kind of wrapped
Ow.
around your arm, it's gonna try and hit you again with a beak attack. And that's a 16 to hit.
Ooh.
That also hits, and that's gonna be 8 piercing damage.
Yow.
And it's just gonna sort of slither its way out of the alcove, so it's not like stuck in there anymore, and it's out in the room now. And that is it for the Grick's turn. Vermilion, you are up now.
Oh gosh. Okay.
And Saoirse, you're on deck.
If I run behind that table, will I still have eyes on it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say you could go and run back behind the table. You know, you'd be like sort of popping up and down. You would either need to disengage
Can
or
I try
take
to
an
bonus
opportunity.
action?
Sure. So bonus action disengage.
True. Yeah, bonus action disengage, and I'll go over there and fire a short bow at it.
Okay, make your attack.
That's a unnatural 20.
Ooh, that'll hit.
Yeah. 8 piercing damage.
It's piercing. I can't do math. Okay. And is that it for you, Vermilion?
Yep.
All right. Saoirse, you're next, and Ania, you're on deck.
All right. In a startle of alarm, Saoirse will full hap out at the Grick and cast an Eldritch Blast.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's gonna hit. That's a 19.
Oh, that'll hit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's gonna do 4 damage total. And then she'll look over at Vermilion. Are you doing okay? Do you need help?
That's not a face of encouragement.
Vermilion makes
I will go
grimace.
ahead and then send one of my healing light your way and heal you for 4 hit points.
Thank you.
All right.
No problem.
And if that's it for Saoirse, Ania, you are up, and then Ginger snaps.
She's gonna pull out a tiny little bell, iron bell that looks like it's coated in dried blood, and then she's gonna take the tip of her cane and just hit the side of it, and she's gonna cast Toll the Dead on the Grick.
Nice.
So that's a wisdom saving throw, DC 14.
Okay. That'll be a fail.
Yay!
Not very
I agree.
wise. Surprise.
That's going to be a d12 of necrotic damage because I've already seen it get hurt. So that is going to be 5 points of necrotic damage.
5 points of necrotic.
And then I'm just going to move to be in front of Vermilion so that in the event they need to take a shot, they can just peer out from behind the tall furball lady and then just go immediately behind me.
All right. So you fire off this Toll the Dead. This bell sounds out and sort of echoes through the tunnels. And you see this Grick's body sort of quiver a bit. It's not looking like it's doing so hot now. You guys have been really kind of wailing on it already. Ginger Snap, you are up next, and Yubnub, you are on deck.
I would also like to cast Toll the Dead.
Okay, so that's another wisdom. Ooh, no, that's super cocked. That's a nat 20. Sorry.
Oh, no. Okay, that's all for me.
All right, Yubnub.
All right, maintaining concentration on my bonfire, I will move it underneath this vile creature and have it make another dexterity saving throw, please.
Okay, that's a dirty 20.
All right, well, it's just going to keep that bonfire underneath it for now in that same square, maintaining concentration, and attempt to hide once again, which is a 16.
Oh, okay, all right. So Grick is kept toasty warm. And Yubnub, you feel pretty safe, ducked once again behind that table. Next up is the Grick. Let's see. So we've got Vermilion and Yubnub currently hiding behind the table. We've got Ania, Saoirse, and Ginger Snap still kind of in the open. So let's see. The Grick's gonna go after Saoirse. And that's gonna miss with a 10 as it sort of snaps its tentacles at you.
Excellent.
And next up we have Vermilion with Saoirse after.
It didn't move during its turn? At the
No.
end of its turn, it needs to make another dexterity saving throw, or else it takes more fire damage.
It's a 19.
Well, persistence is key and all.
It's true. All right, Vermilion, you are up.
Okay, I'm gonna use Insightful Action.
Okay.
So it has to make a Deception check against my Insight.
Okay. Ooh, that was
Which
a good one on the
is-
die, even though it was it's a 14.
Which is a 15.
All right, so it fails.
Oh, I got 15.
Yeah.
All right, so
Sneak attack.
attack. All right, so I'm gonna fire another short bow arrow. 14.
You're
14
hidden though,
to
right?
hit.
Yep.
So you would have advantage.
Oh, am I hidden?
You are.
Well-
Wait, no. Did
Oh,
you?
no,
You
wait,
rolled
no, I don't
stealth,
think-
right?
no,
No,
I
you
didn't.
didn't.
I didn't hide.
Because you
didn't.
disengaged. Yeah. So no,
Yeah,
actually,
they
you're
had
not
to
hidden.
Yeah.
Sorry, when
Hidden.
you
They're
described her-
covering. They're cowering.
Yeah, basically. Cowering stealthily, but not really.
Right. Just sort of like got like the little like cat ears poking up like over the table.
Yeah, it's like a sneak attack because insightful fighting works.
That's
so-
true. So you still get your sneak attack.
Did the 14 hit?
The 14 did hit. Yes, it just hit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry, I thought I said that.
In that case. Ooh. Okay, so 15 piercing damage in that case.
15 piercing. Shit, yeah. So you set off this. Was it a crossbow or a short bow?
Short bow.
Short bow. Okay.
Short bow.
So you fire off your short bow, and it's like just as this grit creature opens its mouth and just sort of makes this ear-splitting, just blood-curdling shriek right in Saoirse's face after it tried to bite her. And the screaming sound is cut short when your arrow just sort of like pierces straight through into its beaked mouth, and just sort of protrudes from out the back of it, and this wormy body collapses in on itself into an unmoving, blubbery pile, and that is it for the Grick of the dining hall. We are now out of initiative.
That wasn't a very nice family pet.
I think I'll stick with a unicorn. Thanks,
Unicorn
Vermilion.
wizard.
Whew.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't want to see anything quite like that anymore. I get the feeling that's not the monster the kids were talking about. I think there's a lot
No.
more monsters we could find down here. But if we're gonna,
I think so.
and your voice gets a little softer, like let them go to rest. I think we gotta go to those voices. I don't think we can afford to. We're in danger if we keep finding things like this.
The chanting has
We do
continued.
so.
No.
I think you're right.
This basement sucks.
Vermilion,
Onward
how,
towards the chanting.
Vermilion, how hurt are you right now?
I'm feeling a little rough, I won't lie.
Okay. I'm trying to decide.
Okay, I'm not gonna
I
do
cast Cure
anything.
Wounds.
I just wanted to know.
I'm trying to
Sucks for
decide.
you.
I'll do it. I cast
Yeah,
your
no,
wounds.
because like
Oh.
I'm trying to think over.
It
'cause
was
I would
just
still
funny.
believe you, but I've spent 2 already to try and prep
Just
the party as a whole to keep us safe.
Hey, how are you feeling? Oh, not great, huh?
Cool.
I just picture like Ania just turning and walking silently out of the room while, like Vermilion bleeds and be
I
like,
healed.
that's interesting.
Vermilion heals for a 6.
Nice.
6?
Yes.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right, so what would the party like to do? Are you going to continue to explore this level? Are you going to make your way back to where you heard the voices echoing?
I say onward towards the chanting. I'd like to get out of this place the sooner the better and not wake up any more family pets or whatever they're calling
Agreed.
themselves.
Agreed. I think it's
Yeah.
for the best of our feline friend that we not send them ahead. 1, to do anything else at this point, and 2, stay back here behind us if need be, Vermilion.
Oh, well.
On towards the voices it is then, I suppose.
Oh,
Onward
let's
and
do this.
downward.
Aeneas'
No.
thought cloud right now is just the cat must live.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so you backtrack back towards where you found that staircase that continued leading downwards. And the staircase continues down for about 20 feet or so, and the chanting does steadily get louder and louder. Finally, you do come out in a large room. This is a large stone room that has a series of freestanding, sort of like narrow stone pillars dotted throughout it. And there are, let's see, there are 10 small, like, raised alcoves dug into the wall, like they look sort of like little display alcoves, not like alcoves like the kind of thing where the Grick was hiding. And as you all come out into this room, you hear that the chanting is much louder here. And now you're all actually able to hear words being said. And as you sort of, strain your listening and try to hear, it sounds like there's maybe a dozen voices or so. And they're just reciting over and over again in an eerie unison. She is the ancient, she is the land. She is the ancient, she is the land. Over and over and over again. And it just continues, never ending. What would you like to do?
If we could get an updated visual of what it is.
Shall do that. Is this the right one? Hang on.
I think at this point, maybe Saoirse's just gonna pull out a little piece of cloth or something from a sleeve and just make rudimentary shitty earplugs, because this is not really her kind of thing.
It's not a very pleasant sensory experience for her, I'm sure.
No, it is not.
I think oh, no, you go, Tyler.
I was just gonna say, I think Ginger's got a little bit of a shaped twig or something, a couple twigs out, and it's just rubbing them, holding them close to her chest.
I think Ania, because Vermilion is the next closest in height to Ania's height. I think Ania just leans over to Vermilion and is just I think I share what was it Yubnub said about this place? It sucks. That's my sentiment exactly now.
Okay.
You're very right, my friend.
So, as you all sort of look around the room where you first come out, you do see that it looks like there are two sort of door or entryways off towards your right. What would you like to do? Would you like to make your way to investigate those? Do you want to check out you can all see that it looks like there's small items displayed in those little alcoves that are amassed throughout this room. What would you like to do?
I'll go ahead and take a look at some of those items.
Sure.
They're all in the same room?
Yeah, it's all in the same room.
Can we just spread out and check them?
Yeah.
As long as we can see each other?
Yeah, definitely. You can definitely all see each other. It's a pretty big room, but it's not so large that you would be out of range or anything like that.
Right, not cluttered or anything.
So as you all sort of take a look, everybody just give me a straight intelligence check as you try to identify some of the things that you see on here.
Oh, natural 20 plus 1
Nice.
for Saoirse.
4.
4.
Okay, 4.
There's no modifier to mine. It's intelligence of 11.
Okay. All right. So, those of you with lower rolls, there's still a few things that you're able to, sort of recognize. Ania, you pick up what looks like a dagger that's got probably maybe some a rat or a mouse skull that is set into the pommel. Who else had a low roll? Ginger Snap.
I got 6, so...
6?
Oof.
Okay, Ginger Snap, you pick up, what looks like or maybe not pick up, it's up to you, but you check out what looks to be an iron pendant that is adorned with the face of some sort of devilish or fiendy creature.
I will not pick that up.
Vermilion, you find a bag full of bat guano. So, you find a bag of shit.
It does suck.
I may have use for that later on if you'd like to maybe hand that over.
Saoirse, you had the 20. You
Yes.
find, let's see, you recognize a small orb. That's about 8-inch in diameter, and as you look at it, you recognize from probably a picture of maybe a book that you read once long ago of strange creatures. You realize this is a polished Nothic's eye.
Nothic?
Nothic, the eye of a Nothic. Which
the actual an eyeball, not
yes,
an
the
imitation.
actual eyeball of a Nothic.
Ugh, just because Anna the player doesn't know what this is, let me look this up real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm not sure exactly
If
what
it's
class of creature a Nothic
A
is.
ginormous thing, or
They're
I'm just
humanoid.
looking.
Let's say it's
an
either
I love
a monstrosity or
Nothics.
an aberration.
Oh, wow. All right. It kind of looks like a frog that's made out of death spikes, but has creepy teeth, a giant eyeball, and claws.
Yeah, pretty
Ew.
much. It's pretty
It
gross.
says a monstrous creature with terrible talons and a single great eye. Well, I'm not going to touch that eyeball. I'm just going to walk away.
Let's see. And Yavnub, what was
I
your
don't wanna
roll?
get any closer.
For intelligence, mine was a 13.
A 13. You find a desiccated frog that has been lashed onto a stick, which as you look at it, you realize that this was clearly something that somebody was trying to pawn off as a wand of polymorph. It's not one, but someone was dumb enough to think that like it was like kind of close enough that somebody made that mistake. Because I would definitely say between Yubnub and Saoirse's height, like natural 20, as you look around, you see that you put together that these all seem to be some items that the people in this cult deemed to be important or magical. This is essentially a reliquary of just, you know, weird items that they've amassed and collected and have given, you know, positions of just prominence in this room.
This is like the worst garage sale ever.
Alright, so you do have two ways that you still could go. There is a sort of tunnel that seems to slope downwards, and there is a hallway that continues and sort of turns that you can't see where it continues.
Has the chanting continued?
The chanting has continued, and you still just hear those same words over and over again. She is the ancient. She is the land. She is the ancient.
Can we parse out which direction would lead us closer to the voices from where we're going?
Give me a perception check. Anybody who would like to try to determine this. Or I'll say perception or survival, because it's kind of like tracking, I'll say.
Sorry, what did you say for the second option?
Survival.
Survival.
8 perception.
8?
13 perception.
Also 8.
Okay.
I'm just actively trying to block out the noise, so.
Saoirse's very distracted right now, I'm sure.
Yep.
That's a total of 12. I don't think I'm getting much from it.
12, okay. Vermilion, what did you get?
I also got 8, but I'm wondering if I could use that eye for detail thing. I'm new to using it, so I don't want to like overuse it.
Yeah,
in
no problem.
situations, but
I mean, I think it just takes like an action, so if you wanna... Right, what does it do? Does it give you like advantage? I forgot.
That's the kind of pseudo reliable talent thing. Like you can't get lower than a 7 on like I believe it's insight checks of a kind.
Okay. Yeah, so if it's not perception or survival, then it wouldn't count if it's just
Eye for
insight.
detail is perception.
Oh, okay. Well,
it is perception.
yeah. So if you want to take a moment and apply that, so what does that just mean that your roll is?
Well, the roll on the die would be like a 7 plus whatever Vermilion's perception
Sure.
skill would be. So
Well, I only rolled an 8, so it's not.
So it's still a little
different.
better though.
that's 12, I think. If Vermilion's.
Yeah.
is-
Okay. True.
Okay, so you all sort of like wander around the room, like maybe like going back and forth between these two doorways, and unfortunately you're all kind of at a cross about which way you think is going to be better. Some of you think that going through the hallway is going to be quicker, while others think that going straight down that tunnel is going to be more direct. Things are a little echoey in here. Unfortunately, with the 12 being the highest, nobody's really sure what the most
I had
direct
14.
is. Oh, you had 14. Yeah, then 14, I'd say you're pretty sure that going down that tunnel is the most direct path.
Shall we? Ania just takes the time to gesture towards, like, I imagine we're all like talking past one another after a certain point, because the sensory experience of the chanting and everything is probably getting to all of us at this point. Or at least for Ania and Saoirse, it's probably like, let's go forward this way.
Okay.
Yeah. Ginger's shaking, but she's like, down's where the bad stuff is. We've seemed to figure that out.
Okay, so you begin making your way down this tunnel. You proceed for about 20 feet or so, and after the first 10 feet, you all begin stepping in water. It's very cold, and it's got like a nice film of algae sort of collecting on it. And you make your way further down this tunnel, and you find that it is actually blocked by a rusty iron portcullis. You look around and you don't see a immediate lever on this side of it, at least, to open it. And you are submerged in about 2 feet of water right now.
How rusty are we talking? Like, is it like if I could at it, would it maybe break, or is it just like superficial rust? I could even just go up and like try the bars or whatever.
It's pretty rusty, but I mean, it is like a solid portcullis, so somebody is certainly welcome to try a strength athletics check if you would like to see if you could forcibly lift it.
Could I maybe make the metal a little bit more pliable for whoever wants to try that by just throwing a bonfire on it for 30 to 60 seconds? Not enough to, like, break it.
Do you need, like, a surface or something for the bonfire? Because you are in water right now, so I'm not sure if it needs to, like, be on something.
It's up to you. It just says on the ground that you can see within range, but it doesn't say anything about the fire being put out by water or anything. But it is your call, ultimately.
Yeah. Just say on the ground.
Yeah, it does specify on the ground. So I would say it wouldn't really work. It would just sort of make a big gout of steam once you started, like, trying to set that. Is that a cantrip or is that a level spell?
That is a cantrip. It's a very useful little trick, but
okay.
Yep,
yeah, especially as a cantrip. Yeah, if it specifies on the floor, I'll keep it that way.
I'll just say Saoirse will go up and try to do it anyway, just because even though maybe it's not likely to succeed, she just wants to get out of here.
Always worth a try. Give me a strength athletics.
Are you trying to lift it or blast it?
Just like knock it out, like knock it down, just physical force.
Okay, I'd like to do that too, if
Sure.
I'm allowed to. And I'd also like to give guidance to Saoirse.
Okay.
Guidance gives advantage?
Plus
gives
a
a
D4.
D4. So roll
Plus
a D4.
sorry.
And Ginger Snap, you can also roll your strength athletics, or if you would like to assist and let Saoirse roll at advantage, because she already rolled once.
I'm also, if it helps, not to anything mechanically, but just to make sure that our shorter party members are not currently drowning.
It's 2 feet deep. I think everybody is at least over 2 feet.
Yes, I'm at about neck height right now.
That's what I mean. I'm trying to avoid that problem. So I'm going to keep Yub Nub like on my shoulder or on my back.
No.
Like, here you go, friend.
Going to Yoda up here. I'm okay with this.
I got a 15.
And I rolled an 11.
15 and 11. Okay, so you both go and you're both like at one side each of the portcullis and you're trying to pull it open, and you hear this metal kind of like starting to screech a little bit, but nothing is budging.
Would we be able to attempt a perception check to see where the lever is on the other side of the portcullis?
You may. Everybody who would like to, roll me a perception check.
17.
17, okay.
What were we rolling for? Sorry, my internet looked out for like
Perception.
half a second.
Perception.
Mine was an 8.
21.
21. Okay, yeah, anything 20 or above, as you peer through, you see that there is a wooden wheel, kind of to the left of the other side of the portcullis. You can just barely make out, like, the spokes, or, like, trying to peer around the corner. As you look into this room, adjacent, trying to find some way to open this portcullis, you are able to see actually into the room much more clearly. You find that these voices that swelled up as you were approaching, once you begin sort of interacting with this portcullis and this room, the voices all just stop. all at once, and now it is uncomfortably silent as the sort of echoing like screech of your attempts to pry open this portcullis continues to echo.
Oh no.
You see on the other side of the portcullis that there is a very large, about 40-foot square room that has very smooth masoned walls, unlike the other like rough-hewn stone walls that you've all been seeing in the basement so far. And there is murky water that is covering almost the entire floor, except for a large dais that raises up out of the center of this chamber, and has some sort of an altar, it looks like, set on it. And you see from where you are, there are like chains, empty chains hanging down from the ceiling up above this altar space. And the room on the other side is strangely quiet and still now. But you are able to see there is a wheel just on the other side.
I'm gonna slip my hand down into Ginger Snaps and, grasping it tightly, cast Protection from Evil.
Oh
Excellent.
gosh, thank you.
Okay.
I would like to send Chauncey through to do his thing and see if we can turn that wheel and get this portcullis open.
Sure. Chauncey, was your mage hand or an unseen servant? I'm just blanking.
A mage hand.
Mage hand. I feel like I've played with somebody who uses a Chauncey for an unseen servant. Alright, so you send your now skeletal sort of mage hand out through the bars, and it takes a moment for it to get the wheel going, but eventually it does. And the portcullis starts to creak open, and then between like Saoirse and Ginger Snap and Chauncey on the other side also helping, you're able to get the portcullis open just enough for everybody to sort of like duck down and get through. Now that you see things a little bit better, you do see that this room also has featureless stone pillars up alongside like the edge of it, and there seems to be a ledge that just sort of encircles the perimeter of the room, and you see there are stairs to either side of you that lead up to this ledge space. And then you have that large altar in the center set up on a dais, and there is a dark alcove all across the room, which from here at least looks like it's pretty much just full of like refuse and debris that's sort of floated through the water and collected over there.
I'd like to whisper to my party members, could we maybe have Vermilion and I could flank on either side of the room as we approach stealthily, and I don't know if any of you are especially adept at diplomacy, or at least could distract whatever is there, and we could get the drop on them, something like that.
Diplomacy. We're here to destroy evil, Yubnub.
Oh, yes, it's the...
They don't have to know that.
Yes, exactly. Diplomacy is excellent, and then the knife in the back is the other half of the procedure, as I understand it.
Well,
Folds her arms alongside the rest of them.
I don't love it, but I can probably try and at least confuse them for a couple minutes.
I fear they might know we're here now.
They know that we're here in terms of there's a group presence, but you and I might be able to not create such a presence that our other friends could draw the eye while we drop some kind of pain onto them before they notice.
I'm willing to try.
So
I'm up for it.
Yeah, for clarification, what I am suggesting essentially, looking at this map, is that Vermilion and I just kind of go up around those kind of those steps, that ledge, and try and use the pillars as something to hide behind, to maybe get ready to ambush anyone who looks like they might be in charge.
Sure. I mean, I will say, as you look around, you don't see anybody.
Well,
Neo will walk forward.
right.
with the mace cane that she
Alright.
has.
I just rolled a stealth check to try and go up and kind of stealthily approach along the left side ledge,
Sure.
and that was a total of a dirty 20.
Okay, dirty 20. And Ania, what were you doing?
Just walking forward and just calling out to the room. We know you're here. We've heard you since we've arrived to this basement. You keep the dead from moving on. Why do you do this? What purpose do you do this for?
You call out, and your voice echoes across the water a little bit, but there is no response. The silence is deafening now that there's, after all of that chanting, and that it just stopped so abruptly. It's almost more alarming. Vermilion, are you stealthing along the other ledge?
While Ania speaks, they slink around the right side, keeping kind of low. I got a 23.
23, okay. And Saoirse and Ginger Snap, what are you up to?
Wading in.
Wading in?
Yeah.
Where?
Does it get any deeper out here?
No, it stays at the about the 2-foot water mark.
I'll just stick closer to Ginger Snap.
Sure. Where are you wading into? Are you just sort of walking around the room? Are you going to check out the dais or that alcove or the pillars?
Dais.
Generally near the other cleric, but probably going a little bit closer to the dais. Ginger Snap probably inhaled like she was going to start yelling, but then heard Ania start to talk diplomatically at whatever presence is here. So she's holding off before just
Sure.
shouting.
Mhm.
Definitely like going. Pretenses are off. She's in there trying to check stuff out.
Sure.
Going up to the
Mhm.
gate.
Okay. Alright, so as you make your way with Saoirse at your side a little closer to that altar, and that's on, or the dais that has an altar mounted up top, you're able to see now that you're closer and, facing a different direction than when you were stuck behind the portcullis, that the altar is a large, rectangular slab of stone that has just these hideous depictions of grasping, ghoulish creatures that are like twisting all around the base, and it is stained with very copious amounts of dried blood.
Ugh.
What would you all like to do? Are you still just sort of walking around in the water? Is anybody...
I'm essentially keeping pace on my side of the room with whatever the group of the holy rollers in the center of the room are doing, however far they decide to go into the room.
Sure.
Gonna climb up onto the dais.
Climb onto the... Okay.
And I'll follow Ginger Snap.
I'll call it again. Are you in need of more blood?
As you ask this and your companions begin mounting the dais, you hear as this chanting swells up around you once again, echoing from the room, and you just hear these words bouncing through the stone over and over again, but now, instead of the previous chants, these voices are calling out, "One must die! One must die!" over again, and they get more and more insistent with each declaration that one must die! And you see as 13 dark echoes sort of appear up on this ledge where Yubnub and Vermilion are slinking around. They're somewhat transparent, almost like the ghosts that you saw upstairs, but not quite the same. They're all wearing dark robes, and where their faces should be, there's nothing but just this dark void of space underneath the hood. One of the figures is holding up a torch and they are wearing slightly finer looking robes than the others, but this torch that it holds, the fire is black, and it seems to be absorbing the light around it rather than shining light out. And these voices just continue to call out that one must die, and you sort of hear like the rattling of the chains above you, almost as if the voices are just shaking the air around you.
Shout, "No one else is gonna die here. You've taken enough lives in this home." And I'd like to smash the thing in the middle of the dais if I could.
You want to try to damage the altar? I mean, it's like a big marble slab, so you could definitely try to like damage it. You get the idea looking at it that like, you know, this thing is pretty much like bigger than it, like Ania. Like you wouldn't be able to just smash like
Not
marble
Warhammer
with your
or
mace. Yeah, I mean, you could maybe crack it or something if you get like a really good roll. You think?
Yeah, I'll take a good swing at it.
Yeah, go for it.
While that's happening, Ania will just cry out to all of them. I've already died once. I don't fear going again. If you're going to do
14.
something or untoward towards any of us, then come and take me first.
Okay.
Ania.
With the 14, Ginger Snap's hammer smacks the marble, and it just sort of echoes out, and you feel the like jolt up your arms, Ginger Snap, but no damage seems to have been done.
Ooh.
So, quick question. You said these figures are translucent, you were saying?
Yeah, I'd say, you know, like you're a smart wizardy guy, like you're taking a look at these and you're like, these don't seem to be like sentient apparitions the same way that those ghosts were. Like they're not directly interacting with anybody, they're just doing this chant.
And the person holding the torch, are they translucent as well?
Yes.
And the torch is also translucent?
Yes.
Okay.
It's you sort of like get the sense almost that like these are echoes of some sort. And let's see.
Any chance I could do one more thing before I do anything reckless?
Sure.
More reckless. By taunting the wraiths that are currently all staring at us.
Go ahead.
I just want to try and just confirm before I waste this. I use Eyes of the Grave to open up my awareness to see if I can detect undead 60 feet
Around.
within range of me.
Sure.
Yeah.
You try to detect undead, and you're a little alarmed that no undead seems to pop up. You're not entirely sure what these visions or, you know, ghost-like entities seem to be, but they're not a typical undead, at least.
They would not be classified as undead
Correct.
for the purposes of the game. Okay, I'm really glad I didn't waste Channel Divinity on them in that case. I'm glad I have this ability, because Furbolgs and Grave Clerics are awesome.
So, I've been traveling with Ania for a while. Would I recognize them using Eyes of the Grave? And if so, I would like to use message and ask them just so that we can be on the same page. Because I believe that the arcane terminology for this is that something appears fucky.
That is the technical term, yes.
The technical term is fucky.
Fucky. It's an arcane
School of
term.
magic fuckery.
School of fuckery. That is totally my next
School of
home.
fuckery, oh my god.
We're making this a school of magic after this.
We need
but,
to.
She'll just reply, they're not undead, or at least they're not undead as I know them. She'll just call out to them again. She'll walk forward towards them,
Sure.
just towards the one with the light absorbing flame.
Do you call out again, or you're just sort of
Yeah,
moving
I
towards
call out
it?
to them. Just ask them. Come for me if you want blood.
They continue making their chant, and you kind of hear the rattling of the chains up above the altar grow a little bit louder. Not like... I mean, like, I'm trying to think of just, like, good words. But, like, you don't get the sense that, like, something is actively moving them. It's just sort of, like, as their chanting becomes, like, more continued and sort of more, like, fierce as they're going, one must die, the echoing of these chains rattling sort of, like, magnifies with them.
Anyone else have any ideas? Because I have another idea, but
I would like to look around and see if maybe there's an obvious exit that we have somehow missed, to see if we can just like make a run for it through these scary hooded creatures.
Sure. So are you just glancing around, or are you gonna be like searching for like another
No, I'm
exit?
still standing on the dais with Ginger Snap and
Sure.
yeah, just looking to see if there's some very like, oh, a door that we didn't
Gotcha.
notice.
Yeah, no, you don't see anything like that. Nothing like a door, at least. There is still just sort of that alcove full of, what looks like a bunch of, like, garbage and, like, debris and stuff, in the farthest corner, like, opposite of where you came in. But otherwise, you don't see any doorway.
I will progress stealthily towards the alcove, as I believe I haven't done anything to break my stealth as of
That's
yet.
true.
But I will get all the way to that last stone pillar that is in the far corner and see what I can see from there.
Sure. Let me see. So give me a perception check, please. Are you entering the alcove, or you're just kind of like hanging out outside, right?
I'm outside just trying to see what I can see. That's a total of 16.
16. Yeah, taking a look through there, you don't see anything that, would indicate maybe like a doorway or anything like that.
And it still just looks like garbage?
Yeah, I think so. Let me just double check, see what we got. Okay. Yeah, with the 16, it looks like it's, just a very large pile of, like you see like lots of algae and mold and like rotted wood, maybe from like fallen beams and stuff. While Yubnub is doing this, give me, clerics, give me a religion check, please. Or anybody, actually, who's proficient in religion.
Any chance I could have advantage? Because I know they're not undead.
No.
I'm going to use
Be a
one
9.
of my 2 portent rolls and make this a 15 for a total of 21.
21. Oh, snap.
Religion
The
19.
9 from me.
19 and a 9. Okay, the 19 and the 21. As you sort of look around the room and you hear these chants, you look back and forth from the bloody altar to the chains above and the ghostly forms around you, and you realize that these forms aren't going to take any action against you. They are waiting for some sort of sacrifice to be made upon this altar. Seems to be what these voices are calling for.
Oh yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. I'm
Nope.
going to use Chauncey to poke the refuse pile.
He pokes the refuse pile.
In the
Poke
most
it.
disrespectful way possible. I want to just come out, beastie.
They're
I
like,
know you're in there.
it's
you
like-
freaking plot device.
You freaking
I
plot
can't.
device.
Yeah, I can't help but think like I know it's like a grim, dark. This is tense moment, but now that you've described this, they're not going to do anything in and of themselves. They're waiting for something. I'm like, so wait, are we just fighting D&D Halloween lawn ornaments right now?
Oh my
Like,
god, yes.
I was thinking, like, the Simpsons references are flowing free tonight, but the, like, Wiggum looking down into the pool and being like, no, continue to swim naked. Come on. Do
Oh
it.
my god.
You. Except they're like, one must die. Come on, guys.
So as Chauncey, this undead mage hand, goes and sort of prods with like its middle finger this pile of refuse, and as the clerics are looking around going like, oh my god, they want us to sacrifice something. You watch as Yubnub, as this large mound of refuse sort of like wobbles just in this like sort of sickening jello-like fashion. And it begins to just sort of lurch forward towards you, and now I need everybody to roll initiative.
Have a guess what that
I
is.
knew it.
How far back from that alcove were you standing, Yubnub, just so I know?
I was hiding behind that stone pillar, like the one on the very bottom left-hand corner.
Excellent. So you watch then as this large pile of just like debris and trash just sort of lurches out at your ghostly mage hand. Totally destroys it and like engulfs it in a second, but you know, it doesn't matter, it's a fucking mage hand. And you recognize this to be a shambling mound.
Oh, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Ginger Snap, what is your initiative?
9.
9 for Ginger Snap. Okay, Saoirse?
1.
Oh.
Was it 2 minus 1?
That's sad.
Yes, indeed it is. Very sad.
Vermilion?
20.
20. Nice. Rogue's roguing it up. Vince?
That would be a total of 11.
11 for Yubnub. And Ania?
That's a 13.
13 for Ania. And the mound's got a... Shit, what the hell is its thing? Oh, okay, and the mound goes right after Ginger. Okay, so first up we have Vermilion with Ania on deck. Vermilion, I am not sure where in the room you had wanted to sort of sneak around to hide behind. We can just sort of assume you're like in the center of that ledge if you want. I mean, you can decide where you are.
Yeah, I know they'd been sneaking towards the right, so either way, they're gonna like zoom way the heck away. That feline agility. And use insightful action again. So that's gonna be against a 21.
21 to hit. Yeah, that'll hit. Or wait, no, that's
No, it's insightful action, so
sorry.
it's a deception. Yeah, it has to deceive me.
See how coy this shambling mound is.
So the man has to roll a deception check.
The mound was pretending to be garbage.
That is a 15.
It's true.
Wow, it still actually rolled very well.
Did
for
roll
a
well.
mound.
That is pretty good, but not good enough.
Nope. You get sneak attack now.
Yeah.
For a minute.
Yeah. So from way over there, they're gonna shoot their short bow. Oh, that is a nat 1, though.
Oh, sad.
Mm.
All right. Anything?
Were you hidden though?
I wasn't hidden. I was just using
right.
insightful action, but I
Alright.
still have it for next time. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Last a minute.
Anything else for Million?
If Vermilion can kind of just like get out of the line of sight, like behind the dais a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you can move it back, like, because you were up on the ledge last I knew, so if you want to, like, get down into the water.
Yeah, I'll hop.
Sure. Yeah, you could definitely do
Yeah.
that and go and, like, sort of hide behind the dais or the altar. Do you want to make your bonus hide, or?
Yes. No, I already used my bonus action, so.
Oh,
I'm good.
okay. All right, well then, Ania, you are up, and Yubnub, you're next.
Okay, she is gonna pull out the spiritual weapon scroll and she's going to read it.
Nice.
And I imagine it's almost like, for any Avatar Last Airbender fans, for the way that like the water, a lot of them sort of do the more like Tai Chi influence sort of movements, but she's gonna actually read the spell text and gonna slowly let it become more of like a thick, almost mucusy kind of textured red liquid that forms into a long scythe, and she's gonna set it right next to the shambling mound to make an attack on it.
Awesome. Make your
'Cause
attack.
Because spiritual weapon is a thread and body staple of the cleric.
So good.
That is cocked. It's now landed in between two numbers. That is a 23 to hit.
Ooh, 23 will hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Okay, that is going to be D8 plus 4, so that is going to be 7 points of force damage, and then I need it to make a dexterity saving throw. As for my action, I am going to have it be hit by my sacred flame.
And a dex is going to be... Oh, that's just a 3.
Nope, that's gonna take another 8 points of damage there. Nice holy flames gonna
Oh.
burn it.
Okay, there we are. All right.
Yeah, that's another point of, that's another 2 points of radiant damage.
Okay, awesome.
And then
Horrible
that-
curse has befallen my party. We're all turning into Minnesotans.
Minnesotans have arrived.
Oh, okay.
She's just gonna stand like in front of Sorsha, just be a meat shield, so Sorsha can just like peek out and like Eldritch Blast or something as need be. But that's my turn.
All
That's it
right.
for my movement and everything.
Okay, Yubnub, you are next, and Ginger Snap, you are on deck.
All right, as I focus on this horrid creature and think about all of the horrible mental anguish that has gone on in this house, I trace a number of arcane sigils on my hands and focus it as a conduit for all of that emotional negative energy, and a black beam of shadow forms into a knife in my hand, and I will use Shadow Blade
Nice.
as my bonus action to conjure this blade of darkness in my hand. And as my action, I can make an attack roll. And since we're in darkness, the attack roll has advantage. So I will do that. So this counts as a weapon that I am proficient with, and let's see if it fits.
I mean,
that's
you've
a
got-
natural.
You've still got the light, though, up from the bracelet, right?
That's true.
Because otherwise you would have party members who can't
yeah,
see.
total darkness. Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing that first roll was a natural 20 then. So
That's
that
awesome.
is 2d8 doubled to 4d8 psychic damage.
Nice.
So that's 6, 13, 21,
Nice.
and 25 points of psychic damage, I believe. And is it, since it's a weapon, does it get my dex bonus or no?
Not if it's a spell, I don't believe.
I don't. I
The,
think that's
the wording's a little bit weird, so I wasn't sure. But yeah, no, I'll take my 25 points of psychic damage.
Yeah. Awesome, yeah. So you all kind of probably watch, and a little surprise as Yubnub for like the first time in like a melee type situation, just sort of.
I can actually throw it as a ranged weapon.
Oh,
which is,
nice.
what I am doing, and then I will take my full 30 feet of movement back up and away on that ledge.
Sweet. Awesome. So you watch as Yubnub conjures this dark blade from the shadows about him and hurls it into this massive pile of just living trash and refuse. And you watch as as it like buries into the garbage, you see these sort of like wisps of that same like dark shadowy blade material start sort of seeping out from like all of these like sort of air gaps of, you know, refuse and stuff. And it's almost like it's on fire with this dark smoke from the inside. That was awesome. Next up, we have Ginger Snap, followed by the Mound.
Ooh, okay, I'm up on the dais. I'd like to know how wide the dais is and how far the creature is from it.
The top of the dais is about 10 by 10, with a couple of steps leading down to it. And the creature is currently 5, 10, 15, is about 20 feet from the top of the dais.
Okay. I'm hoping that I can get as close to the edge of the dais and go towards the mound and yell at it and provoke it.
Sure. I mean, if you wanted to actually, like, are you not?
I don't want to leave the dais.
You don't
I
want
to
to
try
leave
to
the
get
dais.
it.
Sure.
I kind of want to just like yell at it, like, hey, focus on me. Get over here. Disgusting piece of censor.
Sure.
Um,
You can curse
censors
here.
herself.
It's okay.
No, she'll censor herself. Like, oh, I shouldn't be talking like that,
Oh, I
even in this
gotcha.
kind of situation.
I love it.
There's
Yeah.
sensitive ears around.
Aw.
Even mounds have feelings.
So Ginger Snap just sort of hops down a couple of the stairs, but still is standing on the dais set.
Yep, she's looking real tough. Like,
so
come and
she's-
get me, grabbing her shield. And she's also
Yeah.
going to cast Bless. Like, Chantia, please bless my friends. Make sure they're all right.
Aw.
And everyone gets 1d4 to their attack rolls and saving
I
throws.
believe Bless only targets 3 creatures.
I'm
so-
casting at level 2.
Okay, there you go then.
Huzzah!
All right, so don't forget your hashtag blessed. And is that it for Ginger Snap?
That's it for me.
All right, this shambling mound then is going to go, and since Ginger Snap was so kind as to yell at it, it's going to start making its way towards that voice, because it's also the closest thing in range. And you watch as this big-ass pile of, like, plant matter and trash just sort of wobbles over towards Ginger Snap. and tries to sort of like slam on top of her, but misses, and just sort of splashes back down into the water. Oh wait, shit, it makes 2 attacks. Never mind, so it tries again. Oh, and that is a natural 20. Oh shit.
It is a natural 1 because of my
Oh, clutch!
Combination wizards!
Yes! That's amazing. I love it.
That is the moment to use a portent.
Seriously, that would have been bad.
I know how hard these things hit.
Yeah.
That's a one shot if we roll high enough.
Yeah, this is CR5, everybody, just saying. So, okay, so you watch as this,
Serpentine!
Serpentine Ginger snaps, and, Yubnub sort of gives you the advice to leap to the side just as the second attack comes, and would have been exactly where Ginger Snap had been standing a second before. And that's gonna be it for the mound's turn. Saoirse, you are up.
Okay, well, seeing this pile of garbage almost just unceremoniously crush my friend with its bulk, I'm just gonna yell out, "Ah!" and like panicking cast a witch bolt in its direction because I don't like the look of that at all.
Nice.
And it's gonna be a 21 to hit.
Oh, that'll hit.
At 2nd level, I get to roll 2d12 for the initial damage,
Oh, no.
not throw them.
Oh god, Vince is shaking his head because he and I both know what this means.
What?
Just roll the damage.
Just keep rolling.
Oh, okay.
We can't say anything. We know, but we can't say anything.
12
We know.
lightning.
12 lightning damage. Okay, so you watch as you shoot this bolt of energy and it hits square into the shambling mound.
Oh no, we're standing in water.
And it sort of quivers for a moment, and Saoirse has a moment of like, yes, I hit it! And then you watch in horror as some of the wounds that have already been made, torn into it by the attacks of your allies, begin to close. As it seems that maybe lightning damage actually heals this creature.
What?
It has lightning absorption as a feature.
Yes, it does.
No. I'm so sorry. I did not know that.
We didn't know.
Yeah, there's no way for you to
We
know.
can't know.
It's
We could
totally
not have
fine.
known.
Yeah. You're not supposed to know.
Forget that it can absorb lightning.
It's okay, friends. We all die someday.
It's okay.
There it goes.
But at least everyone probably can see that the lightning is not working.
Obviously.
There goes the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's very clear that that did the opposite of what you were hoping for it to accomplish.
Oh, okay.
Anything else this round, Saoirse?
Was anyone else hit already? I'm sorry. Now my
I don't
brain
think
is...
so.
Okay.
The rest of us are all good. Don't worry.
I'm just gonna stay where I am.
All right.
And get Ginger Snap to like be able to hide behind me, maybe.
Sure.
I don't know if halflings can hide behind small humans.
Lightfoot
Sure
can.
Oh, no, I can't.
Only Lightfoot can. Yeah.
Well, I'm still gonna stand in front of you.
All right.
Because it seems to not like you.
Vermilion, you are up next, top of the round, and Ania, you're on deck.
Okay, Vermilion's gonna slink around the edge of the dais there, do another shot. Oh, it's a nat 1!
Oh!
But why, though?
No.
Like, I could add my bless, but that's not gonna help.
Yeah. Okay, so your arrow just
Okay.
sort of like sinks into this pile of plants and garbage and doesn't seem to have actually hit like a piece of the actual creature, rather just sort of a bit of its like refuse shell. Anything else? You could hide, you could dash.
Okay. They're just gonna sneak. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
I'm
gonna hide?
muted right now.
Yeah, we just lost your audio for a second, but thanks to captions, I could see that you are hiding. Alright. So next up is Ania with Yubnub on deck.
Okay, before anything else, she's going to move the spiritual weapon, the floating blood scythe in the air, and then try and take an attack at it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
That's a 13, which I'm pretty.
That'll-
Oh wait, no, I have blessed.
Oh yeah, hashtag blessed. I have to say hashtag blessed every time.
That's 15.
15 just hits.
Oh, thank you, bless.
Go
I love you,
ahead.
bless.
Thanks,
Okay.
Shantea.
Thanks, Shantae. Love you. That's gonna be. Oh, that's max damage. That's gonna be
Ooh.
12 points of force damage. So I just
12.
undid lightning.
Yeah,
This is happening.
nice.
Okay, so is it within like 5 feet of me right now?
The
mound?
shambling mound. You were on the dais before, correct?
Yeah, I think Ginger Snaps went forward to try and taunt it.
Yes.
And
So I would
Saoirse-
say it is like 10 feet away from you, so you could move a little bit to get into range.
No, I'm gonna stay where I'm at. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
And then, okay, she's going to try something. Oh boy, I hope this hits. Pray for me, everybody. She is going to grasp her hand around the symbol, let out a bit of blood, like fresh blood around it on her hands, and like coalesce it into like a big black blood spike, and she's gonna fire it as a ray to cast a ray of enfeeblement at it.
Ooh, okay. What is that, a con save, I think?
It's I have to hit first.
Oh, it's an
so
attack roll. Okay.
It's an attack first, so that is.
Wow, I went from
so
like
that's gonna-
never seeing the spell, by the way, to in like the past 2 weeks it's been played in like every other game that I've
There's
done.
a reason for it. It's a giant lumbering creature that hits hard. That's a 23 to hit.
Oh,
so,
that'll hit. Yeah. So now I
so-
make a save, or does it
so
auto?
so on a hit, it'll now only deal half damage with its weapon attacks using strength, so long as I'm focusing on it. But at the end of each of its turns, it can make a con save against my
Okay.
DC.
Now
that's-
it says specifically weapon attacks because the man does not have weapons.
Oh. I thought the weapon
Does the
attacks
stat
were
block
weird.
say melee weapon attack under its actions?
Oh, let me see.
It just says weapon attacks. doesn't say
Yeah, okay,
melee
so
weapon.
it is classified then melee weapon attack then.
Okay, that
Alright.
works.
So that does work.
Okay.
Good catch.
But yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
it for my turn. That's it.
Awesome.
So I've nerfed as much of its abilities as I can in this turn.
Yeah.
and
So
hit.
I'm sorry, was that the damage or the attack?
That's just that's my action. The
No,
attack
s-
hits.
sorry,
so that
but the-
effect clicks in.
Yeah, the effect is that the mound's attacks.
The effect it will do half damage with
damage.
strength-based attacks.
Gotcha.
At the end of each of its turns, it'll make a con save. I'm staying where I'm at. I've used my bonus
All
action
right.
to hit. That's it for my turn.
Yub Nub, you are up, and Ginger Snap, you're on deck.
All right, and so, just about how far am I away from the mound right now?
At this
I-
point, let's
So
see.
it's right next to the dais, and I used my full 30 feet of movement to back up as far as I could after I threw the initial Shadow Blade at it.
Okay, so you are you're like still up on the ledge though, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're
The
pretty
two
much on the
wandering.
ledge, sort of a little bit closer to the door that you came in right now, while the shambling mound is nearer to the edge of the dais where like the alcove is. So you've kind of got the dais almost like somewhat between you and the creature. You're like
Okay.
5, 10.
Would I be able?
You're 15
to...
feet away, we'll say.
Okay, that works for me. As my bonus action, I will recall the Shadow Blade to my hand, and then I will make another attack roll against this creature with it.
Do it up.
I am not kidding. That is another natural 20.
Holy shit!
Yes.
That's
Roll your
another natural 20
damage.
plus 2 from the bless.
That's
plus a bunch.
amazing. Roll your damage,
Uh,
double the die.
Okay. 7, 15.
Yo, those two nat 20s are making a quick work of this. Like,
It's why the rest of us aren't panicking more currently.
18 and another 25 total.
25 total. Shit.
Yes, and so let's see. So I'm 15 feet away from it.
Math.
I will back up another 30 feet to the next kind of the pole, kind of the top left pillar.
Sure.
there.
So you're in like that corner near where you came in, kind of.
Yes,
like,
and,
up the
and
ledge.
simultaneously, just like the internal monologue is going like, "Oh, that was really cool. Oh shit. Oh shit. All right, this is really oh, everything is going good. Why did I decide to do that?"
All right, so Yubnub kind of probably freaked out maybe after seeing it heal up a little from that lightning strike, just tears into it again with the shadowy blade. And the mound is not looking so hot right now, but it is still alive and making its attacks. Next up we have Ginger Snap, followed by the mound, and then Saoirse.
Breathing heavy, shaking, but she's gonna jump into the water and scoot around the mound to get to the opposite side of it,
Okay.
and then push up against it and shout, "I don't know if this will work, but take this for your sacrifice, because me and my friends are getting out of here." And I'm gonna cast Thunder Wave
Thunderwave.
to blast it, hopefully, towards the altar.
All right.
Let's make a con save.
Con save. Oh, that is a dirty 20.
Oh, okay. That is...
Bummer. That would've been cool.
So hopefully getting its attention. 7 damage reduced to 3.
And damage.
Thunder damage.
Thunder. It's okay. All right. Thing just sort of quakes as like the water around Ginger Snap sort of like blasts away from her for a second and then like rushes back in to refill the space.
That's it.
Okay, next up is the mound, and oh man, all right. Well, I'm sorry, but it's just gonna make another attack at Ginger Snap.
Bring it on.
Oh no, that was cocked because it was like up against my other die. And that is a... Oh shit, that is a high bonus to hit. Fuck, I didn't even look at that last time. That's a dirty 20 to hit.
Bring it on. That hits.
And the damage is reduced because of Ray of Enfeeblement.
I cast it.
Right?
It's gonna hit hard.
Helps if I roll the right die. 2. So it's going to be 4 damage, 4 bludgeoning damage. And I need you to... oh, actually, no, you don't make your attack
I
yet.
forgot about its other ability.
Yeah, and you all watch...
I have a reaction.
Doesn't
go ahead.
matter. You all watch in horror as Ginger Snap is engulfed by this shambling mound as it slams on top of her. And you are now grappled by the creature, Ginger Snap. You are blinded and restrained and unable to breathe. You will need to succeed on a con saving throw at the start of each of the mound's turns.
Grappled, blinded, and restrained don't stop me from using my reaction. I'm gonna scream
Go ahead.
and deal thunderously rebuke this thing.
Do it up.
And it needs to...
Was it like a con, I guess, or a dex?
Use your reaction to cause the creature to make a dexterity saving throw.
Dex save.
Get a dex if you're inside of it.
Yeah, sure.
had
That
sillier
is
things happen.
just... Shit, where the hell's my dex? That is an 8, so that'll fail.
Okay. And I'm gonna use my... gonna make it max damage.
Alright,
Because of
Channel divinity.
Channel Divinity, yes.
do it up.
That's
So what
so
is the
cool.
So
damage?
I'm just gonna maximize it up to 16 points of thunder damage.
Nice. Math. Sorry, I'm bad at math. Alright. Awesome. So you watch as after it like slams on top of Ginger, you hear like another rumble of thunder from within, and you see like little bits of plant matter come like bursting out from inside of the creature as it gets sort of forced out, from its own body. But Ginger, you are still grappled and restrained.
All right.
Yes. And that was actually only its first turn, I believe.
Its first attack,
Yeah, that was its first attack. So Saoirse, I think you were near Ginger Snap, right?
Yes,
So
but
you-
I was healing it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's
unintentionally, but still,
gonna-
the result was...
it's gonna make its second slam attack against you, and that's going to be a 15 to hit.
Ouch, yeah, that'll hit.
Okay, but it's still halved. Which is good because I rolled full damage. Shit. So that is 10 bludgeoning damage. That's after the
Oof.
halving.
That's after the half.
Yeah, I rolled.
Jesus.
It would have been 20.
That's
Oh,
half my
God.
health.
Um,
oh my
And
gosh.
it can only engulf one creature at a time. So I mean, at least there's that.
There's
Yep.
that.
Saoirse,
There's
it's
that.
your turn now.
Well, awesome. Okay. Can I see Ginger Snap, or
Nope.
is she like totally? Gosh,
She is
dang it.
engulfed. You could maybe try and reach into it if you wanted.
I feel like that would just get me pulled in as well, you know, like reaching to help a drowning person usually pulls you into the drowning area also. Oh geez, all right. I guess I'll try and like an Eldritch Blast in the direction where I did not last see Ginger Snap disappear into its maw. Still hashtag blessed. Ooh, nice. The 22
That'll
to
hit.
for 8 points of force damage.
8, okay. All right.
And I can't see Ginger Snap, so I
Oh.
can't do anything there, but so that'll be it
Alright.
for me.
Vermilion, you are up next. This creature is starting to look pretty bad now. We're getting there.
Vermilion they're just gonna do the same thing they did before, but hopefully better, and
Sure.
peek around and fire.
Take your shot.
Yeah, that is 11.
11.
Oh wait,
will-
my bless.
Hashtag bless.
Okay, 13. No, 14.
14 just misses.
Ugh, so
Sorry,
close.
the number is 15 for its AC. So y'all. Okay, so once again, the
Okay,
shot just
they
kind of
scurry
goes
right back and
wide.
hide.
Next up is Ania.
As a heads up, Sam, it needs to make a con save to see if the Ray of Enfeeblement's still in effect right
Oh,
now.
thank you. Con save. What's its con? I think that's probably succeeds. Yeah, that's a 21.
Yeah, Ray of Enfeeblement's effect fades. It prevented 20 points of damage on Sorsha.
That was a big help.
Okay, so first thing, I'm gonna roll for the spiritual weapon to hit it. It's a 19 to hit it, so
That'll hit.
So that's gonna be 6 points of force damage,
Points. Okay.
and then, okay, and I imagine bless is over unless, because concentration's probably been broken for Ginger Snap.
Nope, I rolled. It's still going.
Nice.
Oh wow, that's impressive. Okay, she is.
Ginger Snap's a
Yeah,
boss.
fuck it. She's gonna hold on to the symbol, bleed fresh blood, this time from her wrists, and just sort of like look at it and have her eyes turn bloodshot red, and she's gonna hold her action for when Yubnub attacks it
Okay.
to do Path to the Grave, the channel divinity. So it'll double whatever damage you do. It'll make it vulnerable to the damage you inflict on it.
Nice.
It's all on you, buddy.
All right.
Right.
Yub Nub, you're next.
Pressure. All right then.
Yep, 0 pressure.
I will move 20 feet. I think that would get me within 20 feet of it.
Yeah. The room's not like the room is only like 40 by 40, so you can get there.
Oh, right. Whatever the minimum amount that I would need to move
Sure.
to get within 20 feet, essentially. All right. Come on.
No.
Again?
No.
Yeah.
What?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yes!
I will, if you don't, I will 100% take a picture.
No, I absolutely believe you. That's just
Jesus
amazing.
Christ. That's 3 in
yeah.
a row, everybody. 3 in
Yeah,
a-
that is a natural 20.
crits.
Yes.
Wow.
everywhere.
That's
Fucking
amazing.
everywhere.
So it's a double crit then, essentially.
Or
so,
just roll the 4D. Roll the 4D8.
I mean-
And then we'll double
it'll
it.
double the damage.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think you really need to roll, but let's do it because that's a satisfying number that I want to hear.
Yes.
How?
Wow.
Of course, it was the worst roll of all of them. It was 12, doubled to 24.
But that is enough. Yum Nub, how would you like to do this?
Okay, wait. Can I do the setup for Yubnub's attack? Okay.
Yes,
Sure.
absolutely. Go for it.
So you see her, like, in just a split second, she sees Yubnub about to go for whatever attack he's going to do, and she just, like, unleashes just these streams of just red, viscous liquid, like, ichor onto it, just latching onto different points, using, I would say, the spots where the lightning damage originally affected it, and using those where it looks like it's healed up to like make blood change to leave it vulnerable to the damage for Yub Nub.
Okay, and as I throw this knife towards it, I think of the two little children upstairs playing with their toys, and I just kind of think of like this tiniest little like mote of light from whatever like joy that they had remaining that might let them kind of break free from whatever torment they have. And I just kind of like hurl it towards it, and there's like the knife embeds itself, the creature just screams and retches, and there's like this tiniest little mote of light, and it explodes into this like someone just murked like Oscar the Grouch sort of just and then from the inside is just Ginger Snap as like
ow.
tendrils of like refuse fall from the sky onto it.
Yes, that's amazing. It's just in that burst of like radiant light, essentially, as this thing just explodes outwards, you do find Ginger Snap standing amidst like the remnants of the refuse that is still showering down around her and like plopping into the water. And you have defeated the shambling mound. The room becomes silent now. The chanting has stopped. And you watch as the figures that have remained around the room this entire time, just watching and unmoving, sort of fade away into darkness. Well, I guess not into darkness, into nothingness, because you have the light on in the room. And everything seems silent. You begin to make your way back through the dungeon. Let's say you are able now to sort of take your time, just for the sake of time. I'll just sort of narrate your egress from the home. You take some time at the crypts. Because now you are able to actually locate the crypts of the Dursts and are able, if you like, to place the bones and remains of Thornbolt and Rosavalda to rest in their respective spaces. And as you do so, Ginger Snap, I imagine it's probably you putting the little bone bundles that you have made down into the crypts, and you hear in your ear each time that it happens, a small sort of childlike giggle right in your ear, and just a warm sort of breath going, "Thank you," as you walk from each crypt and leave the children to their peace. However, as the party makes your way back upstairs, you find that while the dungeon has been peaceful since the defeat of this monster, the house above is not happy with what has happened. And you emerge from a secret door in the first floor, actually, and you find now that the room, as you like open this door into one of the rooms on that first floor, everything is full of black smoke. And you begin to cough and choke, and you start trying to rush your way through the building, and you find that the windows that earlier you had been able to see out of just fine were now also bricked up, much like the ones that you found in the upstairs as you had made your way through the house. The smoke follows you, and you find that all of the doorways now are replaced literally with swinging scythes and blades, and you sort of help each other try to time your jumps through them as you make your way back out of the home into the front of the house. And as you make your way further and into each room, getting closer and closer to the exit, the smoke begins to get more acrid, and you watch as the knives trying to keep you from escaping swing faster and faster. And you finally make your way out, and you hear this shrieking sound that sounds almost like rusty hinges being torn off, but it seems to emanate from the house itself as you race down that front pathway that you originally came down and through that wrought iron ornamental gate that rings the yard. And as you get through that gate, it slams shut behind you of its own accord, and that sort of shrieking sound ends silently. And you turn behind you and you look back up at the house, and it is sitting there, none the worse for the wear. None of the windows are bricked up. You don't see any sign of activity. You see no sign of the children. And that immense dark fog that had filled this village when you first arrived is not there anymore. The sky is still overcast and there is no sun shining brightly, but you can see around you now. You're in a rundown village and there's actually people out now. Everybody seems to be giving this house a very wide berth, though. And as you turn back away from it, you find at your feet a large basket with a large black and red bow tied festively to the handle that was not there when you came running out of the house a moment ago. Yubnub leans down and sort of inspects it, curious by, what this is, and you find a collection of what looks like health potions in crystal vials. And attached to the handle of the basket is a card with a very, very fine handwriting calligraphy on it. And it simply says, "Welcome to Barovia." And on the back of the card is a familiar-looking raven crest. And that's where we will wrap your Death House adventure, with your party still stranded in the village of Barovia, but having successfully escaped the Death House, and even managing to lay the small children, the child Dursts, to rest. Yay!
Oh God.
Yay.
We live!
That was
You
incredible.
all lived!
I'm so surprised.
Fucking God.
That
How
was...
did we not die?
I am amazed.
This
Oh.
is stunning.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry that we ran so late. Thank you so much for bearing with us. I know, Anna, that you're on kind of a time constraint, so thank you for
It's
sticking
good.
around.
Oh my
I'm really
God.
glad you could be with us for that full ending.
All
Me
people who
too.
are still viewing, take note of the fact that fight, I don't want anyone saying, "Oh, you breezed through that." It took 3 crits to kill the damn thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
That thing had 137 HP that
oh my God, no, really?
you all just tore through. It's a CR5 creature.
Dang.
Yeah.
Holy
I thought it was like 100.
crap.
The gods were
No.
on our side.
And I didn't even do anything.
No, you did.
We still did it.
You got them through all of those
Amazing.
rooms and stuff. Oh
Make
man.
sure didn't
We would have
fucking-
died
But I
before
mean,
we
on
got
the
there if it weren't
monster,
for you.
Oh, the
wow.
monster. Yeah, that's always frustrating. I've definitely had fights like that where it's like, God damn it!
Yeah. Well, apparently
That just
I
makes
was
it
just
more
sucking
amazing that
all
it
of
died
your
so
luck
fast.
in my direction, and that's what was happening.
Worth
Oh my
it. Worth it.
goodness.
Oh.
Seriously, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you,
Holy
yes.
Christ, this was great. This was
Let's-
just the right amount of spooky, sad, feelsy, hilarious, and just good.
I'm so glad
Or
you
what
had
have I done
fun.
healing the monster trying to kill us all? That's the real
Oh.
cosmic horror here.
You said Witch
Oh.
Bolt, and I was like, yes.
I'm so sorry.
You said that, and when when we were told it was a shambling mound, I was like, wait, isn't there something really specific we're supposed to avoid about that? Then you said witch bolt. And I was
Sure
like, wait,
is.
What damage is that? Oh fuck, it's lightning. Like,
Well,
Will
now
had
that
the
I
same
know,
exact
I will-
realization.
I will never forget because
But should we
But yeah,
get
that's
our-
the classic
It was
D&D
incredible.
thing, is just the oh, wait, that thing?
oh,
Yeah.
oh, hey.
yeah, it was like, oh cool, I'll just use my most powerful spell. Yeah,
I
powerful for
know.
benefiting the monster.
It's okay. It worked
It
I'm just glad no
out.
one died. It would have been much,
Should-
much worse.
Yeah,
Should we do our outros to make it easier for everyone to get
Sure
going? If
thing.
they need to get going.
Yeah.
absolutely. Let's go in reverse order. Angela, tell us about you, where we can find you, anything you want to promote right now.
Sure. Hello there, everybody. I'm Angela. You can find me on Twitter at Phoenix24Fem, or as a DM, typically on Saturday nights, 7:30 p.m. PST, 10:30 p.m. EST, as the DM for Adventures in Ugni and All POC homebrew 5e campaign, where I basically take my players through a world with a lot of phoenix motifs and notions of like rebirth and such, and a lot of custom homebrew shenanigans that happen because my players break me every other session. But that, and I don't have the specific link for me, but I know DC Commander, to promote something, has been trying to help get folks giving more attention and love to, I think there's currently a fund or community raising happening for Trans Lifeline right now. So
Awesome.
try and support that if you can. But yeah, you can find me on Patreon Philosophem, over on the WTTP Welcome to the Party Discord, where I just talk about a lot of feelings and shit I'm going through and love everybody there because I'm trans mom. And yeah, that's me.
Wonderful. Vince, tell us about you, where we can find you.
I am at Dichotomous Prime on Twitter. Same thing with respect to, you know, Patreon, Ko-fi. If you found any of my stylings entertaining, hey, every little bit helps for sure. Other than that, I am a GM for hire. I promise that I don't normally roll that well, so you won't immediately die. But yeah, no, if you're one of those people who wants to dip their toe into playing tabletop but are unable to find someone to GM, please get into contact with me via Twitter and we might be able to work something out. But yeah, that's me.
Awesome. And Amy, tell us about you, where we can find you.
You can find me at AmyLiz_W on Twitter, where I'm usually yelling about D&D or art or like chronic pain, probably. I'm probably going to have some more art up soon now that I'm recovering from the wild month this has been. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. And Anna.
Yes, my name is Anna. You can find me on Twitter at Nymeria941 and also on YouTube under my name, Anna Goldberg. I make videos about books, board games, tabletop RPGs, and just other generally geeky stuff. So if you like that, you can find links to everything on my Twitter, which is at Nymeria941. And I also work alongside Tyler with the Dots RPG project, and that is a organization that's dedicated to making tabletop RPGs more accessible to players who are blind and visually impaired. And that's me.
Thank you. And Tyler, tell us about you.
I will. I am at Tyler_Moonsage on Twitter, where I often talk about blindness, sexuality and disability, gender fluidity, and a lot of Pokemon. So if you're up for that, come say hello. I'm also one of the guild leaders at the Dots RPG project, as Anna said, where we're making a bunch of different projects. A couple programs coming out soon. Keep your eyes and ears open if you have them available, or any other senses you have. And come check us out at PAX Unplugged if you're going for our panel on accessibility and gaming.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that.
Me too.
Because I'm going to be on that panel with Tyler, if you didn't know. So if you'll be at PAX Unplugged in Philly the first weekend of December, come and say hello. I should be there all 3 days if my spell slots will hold up. And I am Sam. I can be found at Samwise_GameG here on Twitch and on Twitter. In addition to Heroes Without Limits, you can see me Mondays over at Encounter Roleplay. I am in a Ravnica game. Wednesdays, I am in now 2 persistent campaigns over at the Chromatic Chimera. I also just started doing some audio recaps for the campaigns over there, so you should check that out. I'm very excited. It's been a project I've been wanting to start on for a while, and it just went live today. So check that out. Thursday is going to be the launch of the first session of the Cult Divinity Lost podcast that I am in over at Mud and Blood podcast. So that is a horror game if you're looking for a spooky podcast to get into. We are launching on Halloween. So check that out. You can also listen to our Session 0, actually, where we talk about all the safety tools that we're using, because it's a really intense game. And we have already made ample use of the safety tools in our first few sessions, and I just think it's great that you can listen to us go through that process and discuss it. So if you're interested in that, check that out as well. And Fridays, you can see me over at Variant Roles, where I am in the Courts of the Shadow Fae game. And I think that is pretty much it for us here. We are currently... Yes, go ahead.
As a reminder to you, in case you haven't seen the post-it note, raid.
Oh, thank you. Yes. We are going to be raiding. I think we're going to raid my good friends over at the Chromatic Chimera, actually. They are currently playing a game of Kobolds Ate My Baby for for, I don't know, Halloween or whatever, but it's gonna be a good time. I was watching them do some of the prep work yesterday, so we're gonna hop over, give them a raid. And otherwise, we are working on a new schedule for the Lost Mines of Phandelver game, because we've just got a few more sessions to wrap up for that, but fall schedules have gotten weird, so just stay tuned, follow us here on Twitch, and over on Twitter, we are at HWithoutLimits for any updates and for future casting projects and other games. Next Tuesday, the 5th, is actually going to be the start of our new persistent campaign, which is the Twilight Grove. It is an original 5e game that is written and being DM'd by Sophia, who you probably have seen from a bunch of our other content here over at Heroes Without Limits. Sophia plays Safi over on Lost Mines of Phandelver, and has been just helping us out a lot at the channel, so I'm really excited to see their Feywild set game, because the Feywild is the best. Okay, so we are going to raid Chromatic Chimera. Thank you again so much to everybody who came to hang out with us for this session and all of our past sessions, and I hope that everybody has a very happy Halloween, and try not to get lost, you know, in the mists of Barovia while you're at it. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.